Alright, welcome back to Don't Think, Just Charge. I'm Dave, he's Harvey, it's patch week as we're going to go through the 3.5.3 patch notes in one-page rules. Let's get into it. So we're into the middle of the year balance patch for one-page rules. OPR in its most recent edition shifted to this kind of 4 times a year patch structure where we're going to have 2 hot fixes, 1 big balance patch in the middle of the year, and that's what this is, and 1 yearly core rules change, which is going to be in the autumn, September-y time every year. The shtick for this patch is that this is just looking at units, looking at broken rules interactions. I say broken, things that are too strong, dialing them up, dialing them down. No core rules changes are going to be put into play here. That is saved for the September and October patch. This one overall, though, I didn't do that. I meant to do a clickbaity sort of, is it trash or is it amazing? And yeah, I missed the opportunity to do that one. It's not really in my blood to do. But this is, I don't know if he actually called this, but this is more of a dial down patch, really, overall.
Yeah, that's what he's been seen saying. I think it even says it in this first bit blurb thing. But it was basically, he's trying to pull back on some power across the game.
Yeah. Which, there we go. Yeah, you're exactly right. The main theme for this balance patch has been about toning things down. They've received a ton of feedback from players saying that everything has become a little bit too much, and so we're trying to bring that back, which, we kind of agreed with. A lot of our competitive mindset of list building has been towards what is the most broken shit out there, and so it's good, I think, to see this dial back. The psychological point that you'll face as a player immediately is, everything's got more expensive, less powerful, my armies feel weaker than they were before, and I think that is kind of even across the board. We'll go and get into the nitty-gritty and the crunch of what has been changed, and ultimately what it's going to mean for you as players preparing for your next games. So let's have a quick look at we'll have a look at the overview, we'll talk through it, won't dwell too long there, we'll get into the grit bits in a moment. Army-wide rules. They're saying that they've heard the feedback about offensive army-wide rules have made it too deadly, and people don't like the over 9-inch away rules conditions that are coming in. There are going to be changes to that in 3.6, but there is a little bit of attention towards reducing the deadliness and the lethality of the game. Weapon special rules. This is a really great one. I think this is my top 2, and we'll come on to my second one in a minute, is this and the other thing. And this, because you had deadly, blast, all the core rules, but then you had, I don't even know them all, like disintegrate, puncture, rupture, tear, smash, bash, slash, all of that nonsense, right? Which I like the idea of getting more variety in the game, but the variety isn't all weapon rules. It's nice to see that dialed back. We'll have a look at how that's come out. Points cost changes, and this is like some of the more intense stuff. There's a toughness scaling change. Now, this was originally talked about dialing it all the way back to the toughness scaling in 3.4, i.e. just making tough way more expensive, but that's not been done. Instead, it's just been recalculated. One of the big things is aura costs. We can have a look at some specific examples, but rather than just doing an aura cost this much, calculated on the average unit in OPR, the base aura cost is now calculated based on the unit that's getting it. It's unchanged, I think, entirely for heroes, or nearly entirely for heroes, but that means that if you've got blocks of tough 3, your auras have gone up. If you've got blocks of 10, your aura costs have gone up. We can have a little bit of a look at that. And the cost of on 6 and reroll 6 rules. So this is Rending, Surge, Bane, it's not called Poison, Lacerate, the Goblin, Beastmen, army-wide rules. They've been generally, I think, increased. Until now, they weren't taking into quality in AP. So that's gone up. And then some special rules changes. The big one here for bringing something down is probably the Dangerous Terrain debuff. That's probably the biggest nerf that we've seen. But we've got some other things in there. Now, this is where we get into some of the skew stuff. Harvey, talk us through your immediate overview on these, because this is where we get the crunchiest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so special rules changes are always going to be the most important because they tend to be the most polarizing parts of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, when was the last time you saw like a weapon special rule? You went like, wow, that's so broken. There's like one or two examples, whereas, actual special rules, you get them all the time. So yeah, basically what we're seeing here is we're just seeing, I mean, to be honest, things that probably should have been the case already.
Yeah.
Right. This is mostly oversight stuff. So yeah, marks and debuffs finally getting line of sight requirements. That feels like a bit like a no-brainer. There's been some complaints around this with the indirect mark because there were some units that were using indirect mark and then shooting.
Yeah.
So it was basically just like giving them indirect. Yeah, whenever they wanted it, which is was a really nice buff to indirect, and I think is actually how indirect might be changing in the future. But yeah, so back to what you'd think. Most people would have assumed they required line of sight. It wasn't in the text, and so therefore it was never added. And maybe that was intentional, I don't know. But glad to see it added because honestly, like being able to draw a line of sight to things adds tactical depth to the game.
Yeah.
And just being able to like throw things through walls really takes away from that.
Talk
yeah,
about
the next
the dangerous terrain one, because that's the biggest one where the no line of sight requirement was wall.
Yeah, so dangerous terrain debuff was like you can move and also shoot, basically, right? It was the only mark or debuff that actually did damage. And the way it worked previously was that if you use it on a unit, they would immediately roll a dangerous terrain check, which is you pick up a number of dice equal to the number of wounds they had, and you roll it, right? Or equal to their tough level, right? So a tough 12 guy is always rolling 12 dice. And because you've got a 1 in 6 chance of taking a wound off that, what that meant is basically you could cast this 6 times on a tough 12 guy and that they would die on average. Which is very, very potent when you realize how many of these things you could stack in an army.
Yeah.
You could get like 7 or 8 of these pretty easily. And they went through walls and they can be used after rushing. And obviously your opponent is then behind the wall, so you can't snap back on them. I watched a pretty brutal game between two of my mates. Where one of them brought a dangerous terrain stacking debuff army and basically just absolutely rinsed the other player. And dangerous terrain's one of those things, because it's a 1 in 6, sometimes you take 5 wounds from it and you're like, what the actual hell has just happened here?
Exactly.
So yeah, glad to see that being nerfed now, because it was the only instance of a mark or debuff that could do damage, which was already kind of weird. But yeah, now what it does is it puts them into dangerous terrain when it would next be applicable, I think, like more traditional terms, which basically means at the start of their next turn they have to make a check. Now I believe that means at Strider and flying, as it's currently worded, does not get round that. Because flying got changed to you can't end your turn in dangerous terrain. So I believe that those don't get around this either. So this is basically kind of guaranteeing that you're going to get that one check off, but you can't slam it 5 times into a unit. It also adds a little bit of interest to the game, because now if you're playing against a list that is bringing a lot of these and they use it on one of your units, you might be incentivized to not activate that immediately so that they then can't replace the buff on it again for next round. And maybe give them a worse target also. So yeah, good change there. Martial prowess. This is this is a thing that came up kind of recently. Honestly, like I think the change made to martial prowess. So what martial prowess is it used to be it's a special rule. Once per game, you can reactivate the unit. It loses its fatigue. The rule used to be only half your army who started with this rule can activate per round. So if you had 4 guys with this, you could activate 2 of them twice in the first round and 2 of them twice in the second round, and then you'd be all out of it. The change that's been made is now you can only do a third. Now the armies that have martial prowess are few and far between. I think it is literally just Dark Elves and Human Inquisition.
Dark Elf Raiders and Human Inquisition,
So this is interestingly really a nerf towards Dark Elf Raiders, but has kind of like hit old Human Inquisition on the backswing. Yeah. Now, has this massively hit Dark Elf Raiders, reducing it down to a third? Not really. So before you'd run 2 of these guys, plus a bunch of heroes to make it so you can activate both in the first turn. Now you run 1 of them, and you can activate 1. And so you've lost half the power in your first round, which is significant, but it's not a complete gutting of the list, which I think is a good way of balancing.
What this has done, instead, I mean, the actual change that impacted the Dark Elf Raiders list was removing this as an optional upgrade for heroes, which could stand alone and be very, very cheap and allow you to stall out and have that big whammo blammo table your opponent within the first round and a half. That's the change that's been made behind the scenes. And I think it's a little bit that the Human Inquisition have been caught in the crossfire here. But we've had ideas on what we think that should be done for the Human Inquisition anyway. But yeah, they're going to suffer a little bit, but they weren't doing too hot as it was. It's really the Dark Elf Raiders list that's just been toned down a bit.
Yeah, and this moving it down to only a third you can activate was a kind of later change. I don't think it needed to happen, to be honest, because like I said, like if you reduce it down to half and you take it away from the heroes, you've already stopped the Dark Elf Raiders thing, because at most they can have 3 of these guys at 2k points. And they're really, really expensive, prohibitively expensive, right, for doubled up units, which is the only way you'd ever run them. So you're never going to run them you're never going to run like 3 of them, really, especially with the heroes losing it. So I don't think the third thing needed to come in. I don't think it makes too much of a big difference. Human Inquisition are missing the damage they need to be able to really use this rule.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, reducing it down to a third is kind of like long-term healthier, because if Human Inquisition like accidentally get something that means they've got lots of damage, then maybe this will help to curb it a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's an insanely powerful rule.
Yeah,
it's that the army that it's put on doesn't have the high lethality output to really bump themselves up. And I think that even if you saw like one of the tank units going to qual 3, or some of the qual 3 units getting higher AP and a bit more range with it, that would then start to risk warping the Human Inquisition into a very scary army. And I completely agree with what you're saying there. That's really good future proofing for now, because when 3.6 rolls out, we're in a whole new world with all the weapons. We might have a whoops, Human Inquisition are terrifying, and this just helps keep them in line a little bit in advance.
Yeah, and I think also like the Human Inquisition thing right now is they just don't have any damage really anywhere. So they're already kind of kept in check. You know, that you can double activate all you want if you walk against my Titan Lord army and just die. So yeah, not too much of a concern there. But in terms of the Dark Elf Raider strategy where you stall out activations, this hasn't really changed too much. Because obviously now your like one big priority unit is going to be moving on activation 9. Whereas before you'd be moving on...
Activation 11.
Well, no, that would be one of them. The other one would be moving... on activation 8 or whatever, right? Because you have to move one bike, the other bike, and then you use 4 activations, so you're 13.
Oh, which right, is 9 Sorry. You go with the hero, you go on 8, 9, but then it's when you get to that point that you're into 11, 12 at 2k, which is beyond the 10 activation line.
Yeah, which was already a big activation, so it didn't. Yeah, so either way, you can still delay all your activations and get safe activations here, because most armies are 7-day activations. So you're still going on 9, and you kind of find there. And obviously, it depends on whether you're going first or second, whether you get that extra one or not. But yeah, so interesting change. I think it's good to see this, right? For anyone who isn't familiar with this, Warboss Fits did a video on the Dark Elf list just before the patch, so you can go see what it was like beforehand. I've today handed him a new version of the list, so I think he's recording a video now, maybe, on that. So this video we're recording now, we're recording on Thursday, so hopefully the Warboss Fits video will be surfacing at some point.
So you can have a look alongside. Yeah,
you can.
In his, I think it was in the Dark Elf Raiders video, he said that it was something along the lines of saying, don't think just charge are the theoretical physicists and he's the practical physicist, or something like that. We do the theory crafting, he does the show you how it works, and I like that. I think that's a really nice balance. Obviously I'd love to be rolling the dice, but we don't have the setup for it, so I like this little symbiosis. So look forward to hearing everyone's feedback on the 2 videos.
I've also given him 2 lists, and I don't know which one he's going to pick, so get excited. Spicy. Yeah. And then Shrouded. So this isn't something that really touched us too much. We've not seen too much of this. This is basically just putting a cap on how much Shrouded can reduce your charge and shooting range. Now, obviously, if you have watched every video on our channel ever, you'll know that there was once a tournament where I played Chaos Dwarves versus Dave's Wood Elves. And this would have made 0 difference, I think. Now, if my whole army had been melee, maybe it would have made more of a difference. But yeah, there's now a cap on it. I think this is probably coming from fantasy. We've kind of been out of the fantasy game for a bit now. Give us more fantasy tournaments. Hello, UK. But yeah, so now it's to a minimum of 6 inches on both the charge and shooting. I think this helps. I I mean, sure, right? I think you're still getting charged. I'm not sure this is solving the biggest problem. I think a lot of people just hate the mechanic. Yes, it sucked to go against, like, to be a dwarf and have your range and charge reduced by so much. But yeah, I guess minus 4 inches off 8 inches is, I mean, interesting. The wild boost aura doesn't actually say anything about the cap. Ooh, probably an oversight. While the normal one does.
I imagine.
Which I imagine is just. It says it now does this instead of that, right? I think it's one of the things where the rules are in the original rule, and
I think there was similar things in other boosts that I'm not going to spend ages clicking through to find, but there is the implication that the original rule is still in effect.
Still stands. Fullness,
right?
Yeah. So now it's down to a minimum of 6 inches, which basically doesn't change the base one at all. It only changed the boost one, right? Because if you're a dwarf charging 8 inches, you're now down to 6.
Boost one and the Dow. And it's on other armies as well, but the real punishing one at the moment in my mind is for the Dow. When you've got the melee shrouding aura, minus 3 inches movement when charging these guys.
That's again, changed. It's only that one doesn't have the change.
That's interesting, actually. That doesn't have it on it. And you are right.
I think it's only the army special rules that have had it added onto it.
Maybe we can feed that back, but
probably a mistake. But
it's
either way,
aspect of dwarves, slow armies, right? With 8 charges, it's really painful to lose a quarter of your movement.
Yeah. But the thing is, you still lose a quarter of your movement, right? Like that's not changed.
Losing more than a quarter.
It's only the boost, right? The boost is the only thing that's changed here, really. And I don't think people were complaining about the boost. I'm sure the boost was really annoying to play against. But why would you take the boost if you're already like surely your elf matchup into a dwarf match is already so winning that you don't need the boost. Now, obviously, I guess Shadowstalkers get the boost on their regular schmucks. But still, I don't know. It's also been added to Dark Brothers as well, as you're now clicking through and finding. It's now their army-wide is Darkborn, which gives them
no boost. No boosty boost for the Dark Brothers.
I don't think any of them get a boost, do they?
No idea.
No, yeah.
Interesting in melee shrouding. Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Has anyone spotted this yet? We've got a melee shrouding aura on the Dark Master Destroyer combined with the new Darkborn. So for 5 points extra, it's a minus 5 inch charge range.
I mean, either way, I don't think it's making a huge difference. You're getting charged, right? Like, sure. Like, it's a nice little buff in the right direction, but ultimately, I think, the matchups are few and far between, and the next thing is surprise attack. Now, this is probably going to bring a certain American back to the game, because he's been clamoring it for a very, very long time. So Nexus has classically been the biggest proponent of binning this off completely, but it's now been reduced down. So it's not a huge change, but I guess it's. So what surprise attack now does is, so the actual damage only applies when the target's activated, but also you have to be 3 inches away now with infiltrate, which it used to be 1 inch away. So it's like a 2-part nerf. So you need to be slightly further away, which means that you can make safety areas a bit easier. If you imagine your alien hive's burrow, which actually you've gone straight onto, that's going to be quite a big model. So losing an extra 2 inches on all sides of it is going to be relevant for where it can go. And then, you do have to activate it first to get the damage. Now, is this going to make a huge difference to what you were doing in Grimdark Future? No, right? Because you're probably going to activate your burrower first anyway, right? It's your biggest monster on the board. It's going to go charging in. Does this make a big difference in fantasy? Yeah. So fantasy, goblins and halflings have access to this on their thieves and on their assassins, I think. Assy assassins.
There are 2 buffs to this, but keep going, sorry.
Yeah, so now you have to activate it, right? Which is a little bit of a shame, because for these guys, these guys are really kind of good at plopping down like a spell, really, and then going from there. And because goblin armies and halfling armies tend to be quite hoardy, the chance of you getting the first activation is quite low, so your opponent can now deny these a bit easier. You're about to mention that it's now easier to hit with. Is that where you're going? Yeah.
2 things, actually. So there have been 2 improvements to this. In the last patch, it was on a 4-up. You get the damage, and now it's back to being on a 2-up, which it was previously. There was a hidden aspect to this, which I think a lot of people missed, which was because you did the damage when you deployed the units, that wasn't an activation, so the damage couldn't trigger morale checks. which was something that I overlooked, loads of people overlooked. But now it is on an activation, so you can trigger morale checks with it. So there are little bits of changes.
Yeah, which might be relevant. The other thing, though, is it's now down to one hit. Yeah. One hit with AP1. And I think originally it was 3 hits, was it? I think it might have been. No, maybe it was 2 hits. 2 hits on a 2+, I think. And now it's 1 hit on a 2+. So over the course of time, it's been nerfed so heavily that it's now down to 1 hit, which is fine. It's a pretty nasty hit for it to take. But yeah, it is what it is. And then finally, teleport.
My baby. My baby,
so
why?
Tanner describes this as kind of flying under the radar. I mean, we've always said teleport's the strongest rule, right? Like, if you've ever seen our reviews, we always say, if you can see teleport, take it.
It is one of the strongest rules, but it's not on the most broken units. I think
it's a distribution thing, as always, right? Who does the teleport nerf really hit? Night Brothers?
Custodians, Night Brothers, and Wood Elves. Those are the 3 in my mind that are the most...
It doesn't hit Custodians, right? They don't get that anymore, do they?
Well, they do. Sorry, yes, you are right. They've now got an entirely different aura.
Yeah, they've got the dash thing.
That's a misnomer.
So, yeah, Wood Elves and Night Brothers.
War Dancers and Night Brothers general units. Night Battle Brothers, specifically.
Yeah. Which, sure, I mean, this is 3 inches less movement when you are advancing or charging. So if you're shooting or charging, then you get 3 inches less on it. Which is significant.
Ooh, actually, yeah. Hold on. I was going to say, and I got it wrong in my mind, because of Rush being the double move, I was going to say it doesn't impact High Elf Fleet shifters, but it does.
High Elf, yeah. So another 3 inches off those guys as well. Now, if this is cheaper as a result of it, then cool, right? Like, I think it's still really powerful. It's still really good. One thing about Night Brothers is they recently got the versatile range aura, so they don't care too much about this change because they basically had 3 inches taken off them, but they got 4 inches added, so they're still now at 1 inches, which is good. Shifters probably don't really care about this either because you are ambushing them in, and you're putting them next to the target you want to go for, and you're probably activating them and going straight for them. So it doesn't really affect shifters there. Probably doesn't affect Wood Elves because their racial means that things can't really charge them, and the extra range on it was already a lot, right?
It's kind of tricky. I don't know. I'll have to... this is one of the things where I'll have to play with it to tell you how painful this change is on the War Dancers. But War Dancers already were really fragile just because they're 5-ups. They had the regeneration thing. But as well, units of 5 of them that were already quite expensive. You were taking them in blocks of 5 and relying on them to be like a fringe skirmisher. And it's just... I don't know if it's enough to bring them all the way down. I'll have to play and find out. But yeah, it could just be that the 3 inches isn't too much. Yeah.
One thing I will say about this 3-inch change, though, that affects units a bit more than probably it suggests, right? You'd think going from 6 inches to 3 inches is half. But it's not really. Because when you teleport, obviously you need space for your base, and you're measuring from the front of your base to the front of your base. So if your thing that's teleporting has got a 32 mil base, well, actually it can only teleport 2 inches because the 32 mil is basically an inch, and you have to be able to teleport so that you can put your guy down. So this can only now cover 2-inch gaps, right? To be able to fit your guy on the other side.
Oh, now, you mean to blink onto the other side of a unit here?
Yeah, to the other side of a wall or a unit or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that you've only got 2 inches, right? Now what that means is you actually can't teleport across units anymore, right? Because units, you have to respect 1 inches around them. If you're charging them, then maybe you can make the 2-inch hop over them, but I would question the value of that. It's probably pretty low. Whereas with the old teleport, you'd have 5 inches, which is way more likely to be able to get you across a unit. Which I think what I would have liked to have seen with this change is give more teleport, give less movement. You know, so like Ghostly Undead have got a thing where they move minus 6 inches, but they can teleport 6 inches as part of that movement.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen this do the same thing. So instead of this weird like halfy removement thing, just say you can move 6 inches when charging but can no longer move. 6 inches when advancing but can no longer move, or 3 inches when charging. Whatever it would be.
Do you mean net
more than that?
Reduce it by 3 still, but make it that if you're going to move 6 inches, you've got 3 inches left on your.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a normal unit can move 15 inches, right? With this new teleport in there, make 6 inches of that teleporting range and make 9 inches of that running. So you still get to do the cool teleport thing, but you don't get the massive mobility thing.
Yeah.
Because I think right now what teleport is supposed to do and what stuff like wave step is supposed to do is teleport you over walls and teleport you over units. But in practical use, it just never comes up, right? Like terrain is too wide for this to be useful, especially wave step, which is now down to a D3. So, most of your rolls, you're not even making it over a wall. So I think, unfortunately, there's been a bit of I don't know if Tano's just looked at numbers and thought about numbers here and not actually played it, because actually 6 inches was great, but it was still not like completely free movement. Yeah. And 3 inches is going to feel very, very restrictive.
It was free movement when you're moving in a straight line towards the enemy, but all of the tricks that you got from it from being a pick up and place have been axed so hard. It's more than a 3-inch nerf when you're doing tricks, and it is a 3-inch nerf when you're moving in a straight line.
Yeah, and people often talk about, you can get a difficult terrain with it. And you can do that now, but once again, you only have 2 inches to do that, right? So you need to make sure all your models are within 2 inches of the edge of the terrain. If you imagine you're stood on the very edge of the terrain and you've got like a second rank of units, you've got an inch worth of difficult terrain in front of you already. And it's like, you very, very quickly reach a point where it's like, actually, I needed to be on the edge of the terrain for this to really be a trick I can use. And then for stuff like wave step, I ain't making it out of that terrain.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting kind of weirdly placed nerf here. But I think it's a fine nerf to make. I just think perhaps it's taking away from what makes teleport interesting. And now it really does just feel like fast, but 1 inch less.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I guess it's like reverse fast, because you get to go really fast when you're rushing, but not when you're charging or whatever. But yeah.
It feels weird. Have to try it out. I feel that there is a shift towards trying to make rush moves more important or more impactful in the game, with things like rapid rush being a rule. Obviously, this teleport change, which, I'm fine with in terms of thinking about the movement of the game, but people want to shoot stuff, so it feels weird right now. We'll see how it shakes out in the long run.
Yeah. One thing I spoke about, I don't know when I spoke about it, but it was the Knight Brothers guy who can teleport 6 inches after rushing 12 inches. And I think there was a time where they got the extra rush range as well. I don't know if that's still around. I think that might have been removed. They've got rapid rush aura. So if you look at rapid rush aura,
we did talk about this.
Yeah, so this guy can run 24 inches. So he's a kind of like fun, if not meme tech piece, right? Where you give him teleport, you give him rapid rush aura, and you stick him in safety, and then you threaten any point within 24 inches of him, which is funny, really funny. And that's not been changed by this. So thanks, Tano. That's good. I think like stuff like that is actually more egregious to the state of the game, right? Having a single model like this being able to just appear out of nowhere 24 inches away and contest an objective.
Moves nearly the same speed as an aircraft.
Well,
great, right?
Yeah, he's just going.
He's just zooming.
Yeah.
That's quite fun.
Either way. So
But at the same time, that could be game breaking if you saw it anywhere else other than in just Knight Brothers, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. If the second Knight Brothers get access to things that can kill tough things, or we see a big shift away from tough things, then I'm bringing Knights back again. But for now, there's not too much value.
3.6. Watch out. Okay, so we're going to go on and have a look at some of the army changes. And again, this is the overview with the details to follow. Let's wrestle through some of these. The army-wide rules, we've seen some changes here. The biggest one for me is the Shiv Kingdoms hit, taking it away from the 4-inch move to having steadfast, I think it's called, on a 4-up. You are unshaken. Yep. I'd say, I want to be dramatic. What a gigantic nerf, because that is a substantial nerf from an incredible army-wide rule to a crap army-wide rule. But at the same time, Shiv Kingdoms were so egregious with it because they were going from 16 inches to 20 inches. And it was such a huge ratchet of power level. So I think that's fine. I think it's kind of fine for Shiv Kingdoms, who are already a really strong 1,500-point army, to be brought down back to earth, really.
I think the biggest criticism of this has been that it's a cavalry army, so cavalries are quite expensive per tough, and this is a defensive thing, and they don't tend to do a lot of defensive stuff. The old cavalry, they do a lot of charging and dying. So, while yes, it might feel slightly thematic, chivalry and whatever this rule is called, I can't remember what it's called. Steadfast or whatever, the boys all together, riding their horses, they love it. But Yeah, I mean, this is just straight up a nerf, basically.
Mechanics-wise, it makes sense thematically, but mechanics on the battlefield, it's like, what is this nonsense? Also, it's an uncertain rule. I don't know if I'm going to get to use my army at the start of the round, and I appreciate they've changed. It originally was when you activate, and at the moment it's at the start of the round you roll the dice to find out, but you can't plan in advance with this army-wide rule. No.
And the other thing about this as well is obviously, like, you're most likely going to be running a melee army because you're running a cavalry army, and if you lose half your guys in melee, then they run off the board. They don't get a chance to activate this. Yeah. Which is a shame.
Ship Kingdom's already very powerful, so we're not really, we're not throwing our tea in the river here. Other changes that came in, we've already touched on Dark Brothers and Prime Brothers getting Shrouded as their army-wide, which I think is cool. We didn't have that in Grimdark Future before. Prime Brothers have lost... Sorry, all of the sub-faction Prime Brothers have lost Reinforced, and Reinforced is now the vanilla Prime Brothers core rule, which, but Prime Brothers are all just now deeper rosters for Battle Brothers, which is a bit strange. I think for anyone who walks into the state of the game now is going to look at them and go, I don't see the difference. But Tano's talked about how they're going to look at that in the lore later on. So I think this is we live in a strange time for those two armies now, but it will get changed in the future. And then Lustbound and Royal Legion, which is Lust Demons, Lust Havoc Brothers, and Royal Legion is Mummified Undead. And I think that's it for those ones. They're tweaked, so they're plus 4-inch shooting range and plus 2-inch charge range now. I'd have to remind myself.
Yeah, it's 4 and 2, yeah.
4 and 2, which is fine. Royal Legion was already quite funny with the Mummified Undead having a 15-inch charge range. I liked it, but I don't see it as being too bad for them. Better for everyone else, but also not too painful for them.
Yeah, I mean, you compare this to the most obvious one, which is the Ratman's one, which is just plus 2 inches on everything. So this is kind of like you get 2 inches extra shooting, and you get the same charge range, but you kind of lose out in the rush department. So when you kind of put it like that, it sounds fine mostly. Obviously, there's a difference between range and movement, but like let's pretend we're on a flat whiteboard. So the one thing I will say about the Prime Brothers change is obviously in 3.6 we're going to get the weapons update, which is involving a pretty heavy use of templating across the game. So there'll basically be, I don't know how many it is exactly, but we're talking like 12 or something like that, different styles of weapon. There's like set ranges where certain ranges that you lose out on special rules, and you lose out on certain levels of AP, and all sorts of rules that will be coming in, which it's going to make distinguishing Prime Brothers and Battle Brothers extremely difficult, because right now the difference between them is that Prime Brothers suck and have no AP, and Battle Brothers have AP. And soon, with their rules being the same and their army lists being very similar, it's going to be like, well, I don't know.
What's the difference?
And in terms of lore, I believe Prime Brothers are like the gened up, run at the enemy kind of guys, and the Battle Brothers are like the sturdy Giga Chads.
Tano was saying that the Prime Brothers are the vanguard units and the Battle Brothers are the defenders, the guards.
So, I did actually read the lore book as well on this weekend. Just
showing off his tournament swag.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, which I mean, I will say it was a painful read. Right, the first half was extremely hard to read through. Like, please give me some real lore names with some real characters in it. Stop describing them as Ratman clans. That was awful. But the second half was read a bit like a D&D book, so I did enjoy that. Though the exciting news is they are redoing it.
Tana mentioned that as well.
Yeah, so that's coming out next year or something like that. A redone world book. So maybe if I win a tournament, then I'll get to read that as well.
But we digress a little bit. Yeah. So
overall, army-wide rules, fine, whatever. No massive changes here.
Specialties, marks, and debuffs. This is a dial back, reducing the access to army specialties on certain units, as well as generally removing marks and debuffs from multi-mix units, multi-model units. The biggest one here is, for example, the dangerous terrain debuff being brought back off of a load of the Havoc Brothers units.
Basically everything, yeah.
Exactly.
Your options now when it comes to marks and debuffs are, when you look at your list, like just think to your list before the patch. Think of that tough 6 unit you never took. That's the one that has the mark and debuff now, right? It's basically how this works, right? So all the fun units have had it removed. So like APCs have had it removed, your tough 3 guys have had it removed. It's no longer just like this damage multiplier. You now have to take that crap unit you didn't want to take if you want to get your marks and debuffs. So, for all intents and purposes, marks and debuffs have been removed from the game, guys. Okay. Okay. I hope you didn't like that from the last patch, because now they're on everything shit. I'm sure there's some units out there that have good ones.
Let me just bring your attention to the Custodian Combat Walker.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
well, why wouldn't you remove from that?
Don't you dare. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
The Glockopus has got the indirect mark, so that's good.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's been pulled back on multiple units and stuff like that. So the stuff that you were going to use it on is now not got it, is basically how it works. And for some reason, Custodians have got it on the tough 12, scary lad. So actually the Tripod Walker, the Tripod was the tough 6 one. Either way. Yeah.
Thinking about where it is in robots.
There's no juicy. Yeah. It's on the crap units. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
this is an interesting change.
We haven't spoken about this yet. And I don't
think this is a big change.
I think it's a pretty impactful change insofar as people are playing progressive.
I think the real change here is that Vanguard
for the
now
people not reading.
Yeah.
For the people not reading, describe it.
Okay, so what Tano's done is Vanguard, which was previously the Soul Snatcher cults and Volcanic Dwarves, army wide, which is once you deploy, you immediately move 9 inches. That has now been branded as Vanguard. That's its generic name, and it's starting to be rolled out into units. Now, effectively what the new rule is, you can't have fast and ambush or scout, right? So anything that previously had access to both of those has now been made an option. And this also applies to stuff like bounding and whatever, right? All the pseudo-fasts as well. In exchange, some units which previously had scout have now been changed to Vanguard and have kept their fast. So you'll either find units that have fast and Vanguard, or you'll find units that have scout, or an option for fast, or whatever. Now, is this making a huge difference to the game? I think removing scout from things makes a big difference to the game. I think I would still rather see a scout nerf, because reducing the accessibility of a rule does not solve the problem. So, I don't know, like, scout is still very, very powerful, right? Like, and it's way more powerful than fast. And now, in a kind of like interesting way, you can go like, well, actually, I don't mind spending a little bit less points on those scout units, because really they're going to capture objectives, and they can capture objectives with a 12-inch move up the board and a 12-inch move because we're 24 inches apart. So, does this have a huge impact on the game? I don't really know, right?
This is the thing, right? So I don't think it's a huge impact, but we talk about how in progressive game modes, mobility is king. And something having fast plus scout meant that it had such huge hitting power. And like in the 24-inch game, for example, looking at Soul Snatcher cults who had their mutant Soul Snatchers with the Vanguard and fast, they could get through the 24-inch bounce. And they weren't the only ones. That was just one particular example. There were things like the Dark Elf Raiders, Dogs, who had fast and
scout as well, right?
And they had scouts as well. Well, Soul Snatchers had scout as well, and that was it. Mutant Soul Snatchers had ambush. But if you look at just what was the Alien Hive Soul Snatchers, they had scout and fast. You had the Dogs and Dark Elf Raiders, and tons of dog-like units, hound units in the game had scout and fast, which was incredible for covering huge amounts of ground and then also delaying it. They've still got that. Scouts are still very good for those things, but it's a dial back. It's not gutting it. It's not completely changing the landscape of the game, but it's going to have those like small percentage point changes, which I think is a really good way of applying nerfs. And we'll see how it rolls out.
This is one of those changes as well that, to me, it's like, I mean, I keep an eye on the game feedback channel, right? I'm in the Patreon chats and see people talking. I've never ever seen anyone say fast plus is problematic. Exactly. Where's that, right? I've seen people say it's scout, right, or ambush or whatever, right? Like a lot of people talking about Dark Brothers ambush, right, because they had that plus the extra ranges, so you couldn't stop them from doing the thing they wanted to do, which hasn't changed massively, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fine change, right? I think oftentimes things with fast and scout were used to basically just like push your opponent's deployment zone back, and now that's like less potent. But you can still threaten people's deployment zone with Vanguard and Fast, so that can't have been the reason, otherwise that wouldn't exist. I still think Scout's the problem here. Like, when I first saw Vanguard put on one of the units, I was like, this is great. He's replaced Scout with Vanguard.
Yeah.
And I thought that was what was happening, and I got really excited about it, right? Because Vanguard feels like a much more fair version of Scout, right? So much so that when it got introduced on Soul Snatcher cults and he'd stripped all the Scout out of it, I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? You're killing this one army. But if you do it to everybody, then that's fine. So yeah, I'd like to see actually a heavier hand here, I suppose. And also this has led to some interesting stuff, right? Because now you swap Fast and Ambush, and one of the changes you're a big fan of is the Mutant Soul Snatchers can now choose between Ambush and Bounding. Now, before they had Ambush and Fanatic, so they would deploy in Ambush and then move 9 inches forwards, which is basically always redundant. Now they can just take Fast instead, or say take Bounding instead, and then they can just act like a normal unit, so you get more Soul Snatchers in your Soul Snatchers army. So there are some good changes like that.
Oh man, look how expensive the base Soul Snatchers are now as well. I think it's an interesting conversation to have about the rollout of this change as well. I think it's a benefit for just curbing off some of the top end things for progressive games. It's interesting hearing you say, I'd like to see it more heavily applied, because I agree. I also would like to see it more heavily applied. But you and I like regular shake-up. We really want to see a lot of change. We spend so much of our time thinking about OPR armies, about like crafting them and how they're going to play and then putting it into use. Whereas there's a huge amount of player base who get to play 4 times a year. And if you do huge sweeping changes like that, it kind of pulls the rug. So I can understand why it's not been done entirely that way. But yeah, I agree. It would be interesting to see.
Though I will say Scout's not been touched since we played the game. It's been exactly the same, so I'm not sure how would quite apply here.
Pay attention on 3.6. It's going to be another change, I think. Well, at the moment, in Alpha, there's a chance that that's going to change.
Yeah, for sure.
Which we can come on to in September. General exploits, there are no details here, but one of the ones here is Dark Operators.
Yeah, this is Dark Operators, which I think is hilarious that it's been called an exploit, right? I like, sure, right? I think an exploit to me is... that was 3 points, or this upgrade gave -15 for no reason, right? Actually, the biggest exploit in the game was the fact that rending wasn't costed properly, right? Yeah. People taking halberds all over the world were exploiting the point system. When actually taking an upgrade for a unit that was placed there is not really exploiting the game. I feel like it's more like covering his own tracks here, going like, oh no, that wasn't my design oversight, that was an exploit. Which,
I think the problem is that naked heroes aren't really intended to be used to like push the fringe and push the envelope on the game. The idea of heroes is they're aura carriers and/or centerpiece models.
Which is funny, right? Because I was talking in the Discord the other day about this, right? And people were talking about swarms, and I was like, I would much rather a hero capture an objective than a swarm.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we're going like lore, right? I'd much rather have my named character walk up and go like, "This is mine," than like 40 rats do it, right? Like, so yeah, I think the lone hero
in a trench coat.
The lone hero thing's interesting, right? As well, because another comment a lot of people made when they saw the change was like, about what people were talking about lone heroes. They were like, well, we just don't see this, right? We don't see lone heroes anywhere, right? Yeah. And lone heroes is not like everywhere. We talk about them a lot. They're very, very powerful, and you should go try use them, right? But it's not actually everywhere already. So this has not really been like field tested as such, the lone hero thing. Now, this isn't specifically about lone heroes. There are other things as well in this exploit section, right? So one of the things that I do actually consider a real exploit, which isn't the martial prowess thing, is stuff like protection feat on Saurians, right? Where they would spend 5 points for protection feat and then upgrade with an extra 12 wounds, or now that's an actual point to exploit, right? Which is probably maybe where that language comes in, though. He has called my precious exploit. Yeah, but they can no longer take protection feat. Okay, well, that's an actual exploit that should be fixed, and I thought they'd all been removed. If you could check out that's the Star Host. Is that can you check out the
Let's check out Fantasy live prodding of the patch. In fact, just create new. 2,000 points is what I'm building for. So what have we got here? The exact same things here.
Okay, never mind. This is the biggest exploit.
is the biggest exploit.
This is the thing that should have changed, which it hasn't done.
One of the things I think that was changed was Dark Elves, which was the hero getting Retreating Strike and the dragon, but now Retreating Strike has been nerfed, which is in the army updates. But yeah, that was one that was for each wound the model has. It does a point when it does Retreating Strike, then you give it tough plus 12, and it's insane. But yes, this is the most exploitee version of it.
Unless this has changed, no, it's not.
Well, it's been changed to a 5-up.
But I mean, it hasn't the way it changed. So what is apparently this patch note here, where it says general exploits, is saying "fuck you, Dark Elf enjoyers. I've hit you in all angles." Right?
It's because fuck you, Dark Elf enjoyers, because it's the least fun thing to play against. So. That was the sort of thing that, like, in basic
Retreating Strike, are we talking?
No, I'm talking about specifically Dark Elf Raiders and you. In basic,
we're
I
past
was a strong advocate, right? For whatever it was that I felt I disagreed with, I'd argue it. Into the run-up of this, I gave loads of feedback into 3.5.3. I stayed so fucking clear of Dark Elves, because I thought... I'm not going to beef with Harvey in the forums. It's pretty much it, right? I'm not going to do this because Harvey abuses me with it. I'm going to let it be. And we were frank about it on the channel, and it went out there in the world, and other people found it. I was linked one message of someone saying that their mate had found our channel and
played the game with it, and then denied it.
Which I was like, "Oh, you poor soul." But I think that this is a fair way of saying "fuck you, Dark Elf Raiders," because that wasn't fun to play against.
Oh, I'm like I said, I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't think it really changes too much for the playstyle of the army. No, but I mean the truth is, right, and this is probably more canon than you'd rather I be, Dave. But the best way for us to give feedback to Tanlo on balance is actually through the channel, right? Like oftentimes when we give feedback through the text channels, it doesn't feel like it lands as much as just mentioning it here. Yeah. So we stopped giving actual balance because I did a long time ago, and now I just do correctional stuff in the chat.
Well, it's a nice thing to say as well. I mean, like, hi Tano, because I presume you're watching this video, because Tano's coming on the channel next week, folks, and we'll talk about that at the end. It's one of those aspects about all humans everywhere. If you want to be able to have a proper understanding with someone, just talking about it's way better than putting it in an email. And if you're trying to resolve conflicts at work through emails, stop doing that. Pick up the phone and speak to the person you're in conflict with, because you will resolve it so much quicker. And when you're giving feedback on something to a game designer, you are challenging their game design, and that is a subtext of conflict in humans. So I completely agree with you. Hi, Tano. We love giving you feedback on the game. We love doing it through the means of the channel. I think it's one of the natures of it.
I also struggle, I think, often with giving feedback in a written format, right, with a 6-hour slow mode, right? Because oftentimes you say something and then it's misunderstood, and then you're like, well, I now have to edit my comment, and that feels inorganic. And
it feels really weird.
Yeah, and it feels like you have to type in technical language for it to be understood, and it's like, well, if we just come on the channel and talk about it, it's a lot more natural. Either way. Yeah. Now, this next change, is another change. Is a change I disagree with, because I think it's I don't know why it exists, right? So basically, what the change is: 6 6s are too cheap. We're going to make them 5 6s, right? Which, sure, that the problem is 6 6 is too cheap, right? Making them 5 6s, right, isn't really fixing the problem, right? And there's two parts to this. One, Army Forge Studio still exists, right? So players can go make their 6/6 armies, right? So you've not solved the problem for those guys. The other thing is, what the hell happened there? What was that? Oh, they're 6/5s. Interesting. They've escaped the nerf. But the thing about this is make the scaling different, right? Like making them 5s, they're now just paying for quality 5, which is, was a fine cost to pay for, right? No one was complaining about being too expensive or not expensive enough. Oh my god, yeah, fucking changelings still exist. Oh god. So there's still quite a few 6/6s here. I mean, obviously all the spores and stuff like that.
Oh, they're the exploding
ones. Changelings survive. Yes, the 6/6 with change bound, the most egregious example. But yeah, I think I don't know. I would rather just see it nerfed, right? Like, I don't think changing it to quality 5 is really solving the problem, right? Just make 6 more expensive. Because all you've done is made them more aggressive and maybe more relevant for the game. And maybe that was the intent to the change, right? But now we've lost quality 6 as an option, really, apart from for a couple of units that have probably been overlooked. Which I think is a weird way of solving this problem, really. I'd rather see like quality 6. If quality 5 costs you 10 points, I'd rather see quality 6 cost you 8 points, right?
You're saying nerf like def 6 or nerf qual 6 rather than change the units.
I think oftentimes with OPR there's this idea of we can assign a mathematical value to this, so therefore it must be true. Which is true if this was a dice rolling game, which is not. Right?
Wait, what?
It's not actually a dice rolling game, right? Like I don't just roll my dice and compare them to your rolled dice, right? I add things like modifiers on, right?
Yeah.
So already it's not a dice rolling game. I've got armor piercing in the game. So 6 has this hidden use against armor piercing where your opponent's being less efficient than you. So you can no longer balance the game completely mathematically. Now maths is a really good start point for it. But at some point you have to go like, actually, this game is being played, right? And I need to then adjust to it in that way. And there are some elements of this is obviously already happening. But you often see takes in the Discord where people go like, well, mathematically, it's this. And I think like, well, mathematically, that's irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
You see it with fast or whatever, right? Like, okay, well, fast is like 4 inches better than 12 inches. Does that mean it should cost 33% more? Well, no, because it's infinitely better than 12 anytime you're trying to charge someone, right?
Yeah.
So in the context of the game, it's way more powerful than 4 inches suggests. But yeah, just one of those things. I think I'd rather just see 6/6s still exist, but be made more expensive. Because now all you've done is, make them, I guess, more useful and more expensive, but also they're just paying the cost for them being more useful. So they're not actually been nerfed as such, this kind of horde playstyle. It's just been gently pulled away from.
It's been gently pulled back. And, I don't hate that approach. I agree with you. I'd like to see the pure maths of it actually crunched a bit harder. But operating within the infrastructure of what we have in OPR and, studio still being there and everything, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine approach to take, which is the balance as well as the benefit of psychologically. Your chaffy things have got a little bit better, a little bit more impact in the game. The psychology of 6 versus 5 when you're making your attacks is 6. I'll be glad if I get 1 when you roll 6 of them, but like you're really not expecting it. Whereas with 5s, you can play with this a bit more. So I think it's kind of fine.
It's not the end of the world. I just don't see why point costs weren't the first thing to change before we basically removed quality 6 from the game. It just, to me, it feels like narrowing your design space in a very kind of weird way. I think actually what needs to be done is the points cost difference between 2 and 6, like the 6 end needs to be brought up a bit, right? So that we don't get these hyper cheap units anyway. And as I said, this doesn't solve Studio even remotely, which I'm really surprised because I think most changes that come in do try and solve that problem. Same with the fast and scout thing, right? That's not solved that problem. It still exists in Studio, right? So there's all these things which are very, very easy to stumble into, right? People are going to make 6/6s. People are going to make fast scout stuff. They go together naturally. It hasn't solved the problem for those people, which seems weird to me.
There's an interesting discourse actually about the number of people who use Studio, but this isn't the time and place for it. This is a 353 review video, so we'll focus on that for now. But let's crack on and get into the detail parts and see where these come in. We have already spoken about quite a few of these, so you might find us skipping over them, but let's go over and talk about what the impact is and where it draws through. Now, the top one on the general updates, they're split into general updates, point cost updates, general army updates, and then the detailed army changes. So we'll go through it in that order. We will not touch on, I think, Gangs of New Eden and Guilds of the Nexus. We're not going to talk about the skirmish changes that have come in, purely because we'll be here for hours and hours and hours going through all the extra, like, however many armies that there are with those. We're going to focus on the battle games. If you are desperate for those sorts of takes, let us know. Come talk to us in Discord. This is a good point in the video to make sure we say, subscribe, please give us a thumbs up and put a comment down below. It does huge help. Again, while I'm blabbing, look how sick this friggin' promo picture is. I want to see more of these in the world. I was thinking about actually
Flamer Beasts.
Oh yeah, Flamer Beasts. I'd love to see more of them. I'd love to see a little, I don't know, a library of promo pictures. That's the most boring thing in the world, which is why I haven't actually said I want it anywhere, but I think they're sick. Anyway,
yeah, cool.
General updates. We've mentioned this one. All marks and debuffs require line of sight. A change that I think should have been there at the start anyway. I don't think it was very interesting having no line of sight required. So good. Brutal, vicious, violent boosts. These are this is the emphasis here is on your boosts, and the derivatives only work when shooting and charging enemies 9 inches or more away. So this is your exploding sixes, your exploding ones, expanding to exploding twos. Aspects like that only work
Rerolling fives and sixes.
Rerolling fives and sixes,
Yep.
Those sorts of things on the boost, so when you pay for the upgrade, now have a 9-inch condition as well.
Yep.
What this means in my mind is a rule that I was rarely taking, I am now never taking.
So I imagine it's probably got cheaper as a result of this. And for some armies, it's probably quite significantly cheaper because you probably were only using it in certain ways anyways. Now, obviously, if you look at like orcs, for example, right? Like ferocious is when attacking on sixes, you get exploding sixes. Now you have ferocious boost aura, which is basically just furious, because it gives you exploding sixes on fives and sixes when you charge, but also when shooting. Now, it's more expensive than that, right? So I think it's 5 points for Furious at the moment in the game. That's 15 points. That's obviously quite significantly more expensive. Now, is exploding fives and sixes so much better than exploding just sixes? Well, it's slightly more consistent. But otherwise, no. So I think the points cost thing is maybe a bit broken here. I don't know. Unless Furious has been updated since I last looked.
Coming in as well. Don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about. I'm comparing it to Furious Aura. If you go to the Dark Elves list, their leaders get it.
Is that not one here? It's 5 points on the grunt vat.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 5 points for Furious, or it's 15 points for something that obviously applies with shooting as well. But most units are either shooting or meleeing. So, I mean, I don't know. For melee units, this is now like just very, very expensive Furious, and for ranged units, I guess it's probably just normal Furious. It's a bit like again Relentless, I guess.
Is this a bug, by the way? Hive Lord Furious upgrade for 5 points?
Yeah, almost certainly that must be broken. So maybe they are 15 points, and that'll all come out in the maths in the end. But yeah, for sure, 5 points for Furious is probably broken. Though no, it's probably not. It could actually not be broken because the Hive Lord now starts with guns, right?
Yeah.
It probably is still a little bit broken, right? But the Hive Lord now has guns instead of all its weapons, so stuff like Furious is cheaper, which is. But that's the only way they could make increased shooting range not be free. So, yeah, one of those kind of like OPR moments.
Okay, PDFs. Anyway, so the points you think will iron it out. For me, I hate these 9-inch things. I absolutely detest them, and so I'm not going to use an upgrade slot on a hero to actually take something that I hate using and spend points on it.
No, I think you're better off just buy something else.
Exactly. It's so many conditions down the line. I was like, get rid of it. I don't want it. I see why it's there, because as well, don't get me wrong, exploding fives and sixes is hugely powerful. And let's go back to orcs for a second, and I've flipping closed it down, and it's going to take me ages because for some reason Army Forge hates me today.
Yeah, I was doing things that way.
You've got these bone tough dudes. What are they called? Bone brutes. Oh, also, yeah, orcs, because they're getting their range released. They've been renamed. That's one of the things in there. Spoilers for later. But they've got these bone brutes who have got, of course, ferocious, but they've got loads of blast, and they've got a deadly attack in there that you can get as well. And when you are doubling the hits of those on a 6, making it happen on a 5 and a 6 is increasing the consistency at which you multiply your 3 damage attack to a 6 damage attack. So I think it's fine to see this come in and make it harder to do from a balance perspective, but at the same time, I hate the 9-inch thing. Let us know. Yeah. Let us know. Come and talk to us if you've been taking these rules and if it's going to change your analysis of it.
I think our stance is the same it's been since beta, right? Getting +1 to something is fine. Getting +2 to something is not. Mm-hmm. And boosts by nature seem to just be the +2 part, right? You get your +2. It's not going to happen, and I think it's not much better, right? But I think they made a lot more sense when they were like, guarantee it turns on, because that way you didn't go from +1 to +2.
Yeah.
But now you still have +1 to +2, so you're in that other hole. So I can see why this is being kind of like tossed around in a couple of different areas. I think ultimately boosts don't quite work. I think if the game had more depth, you could make boosts something more interesting, right? So like I'm a ferocious orc, and when I get my boost, I can. yeah, like I can once per game move up to 4 inches, right? Make speed feat the boost, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm ferocious, but now I'm ferocious plus, and ferocious plus gives me something that I also mentally associate with being ferocious, instead of just giving me extra movement. So yeah, I honestly, if they just took all the boosts and turned them into feats, then that would probably solve the problem, right? Let's just make them feats, and that kind of is interesting enough. But I think the way they're being implemented now, I don't know, like they're now cheap, I guess, so you might take them a bit more, but otherwise, probably just not that interested. Melee units are probably still dining out pretty well on it.
Fab. The next thing then is courageous and derivatives now work only on morale tests from shooting and melee. So what is this talking about? This is talking about the Alien Hives army-wide rule, the Human Empire, the Human Defense Force army-wide rule. Man, Army Force just having a bad time tonight. Those now only apply against morale checks from being shot or in melee. What doesn't this apply to? It doesn't apply to the morale check. I'm gonna go really obscure first. It doesn't apply to the morale check from the advanced action shooting rule.
Yeah.
Real niche there, but it doesn't apply to mind control. It doesn't apply to fatigue debuff in the Demons of War, which triggers a morale check, or this. Things like that.
Doesn't apply to spellcasting.
What spells are there that are morale check? Oh, as in damage from morale checks. Oh, sorry. The morale checks from damage from spells. I'm with you now. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cast a buff.
Yeah, I probably an irrelevant change, I think. Right?
Also
It's
one
like
that
it's
we're
like
all
cast a
gonna
buff, yeah.
forget.
Well, that's definitely gonna happen, yeah. But I think, yeah, probably an irrelevant change. I don't think this is. I also don't know where this came from. Once again, I think, like, to be fair, effects that do morale stuff probably can really suck when you're against those armies. So I think this is more of like a vibes thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good that now you can do your mind control thing more often. I think that is generally more fun.
Mind control.
So, yeah.
Be interesting to see Fearless take that hit as well. That would be pretty brutal.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it probably should do, right, if the other one's done it. But yeah,
interesting. Great crossing attack now deals wounds instead of hits.
Yeah, Jackal's buff. Jackal's buff. So there's 3 different crossing things. There's crossing strike, crossing attack, and crossing something. The other 2, crossing barrage, barrage. Search on the left for crossing. Oh well, yeah. So crossing attack.
Fleets, jackals, and machine cults. Okay.
Yeah. So this is actually a piece of feedback. I think I spoke to Tanner about this as well. It was basically like whoever's used those crossing abilities has always gone like, oh yeah, I finally got a 6. Oh, it's a hit, right? And while statistically that's fine, it's extremely boring. So that's been changed. Don't worry, no one plays that. And then they've all been replaced, right? So you won't find them anymore. That's the point. So the crossing hits now does wounds, and the other crossing ones, which no longer exist in the game, have all been replaced with strafing, which is if you go to Burning Angels. So which will come up a second in the patch notes, but yeah, Burning Angels, they now have an upgrade. What if you just had strafing? I mean, there you go. You can see a bunch of them, right? So yeah, a bunch of the things that were crossing are now strafing, which I think is a good change because it now means the quality of the unit is relevant for that kind of stuff. And yeah, Burning Angels now have a burning once per use AP1 blast 3 thing, a quality 3 instead of a quality 4, which I think is fun, right?
I have not looked at this, and it's an angel army, so I'm actually quite keen to have a look. So upgrade all models with A1, AP1, blast 3 limited, strafing. When you move through enemy units, pick 1 to attack, as if it was shooting. Can only be used in this way. Q, qual 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we got for you. Like 20 points, upgrade all models with. Yeah, cool. Like I quite like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good change. I mean, it was something that we've spoken about on the channel before. It's a suggestion I made. I think the strafing is a cool rule, and it should be used in more places. And now the quality of the unit is directly related to how much damage it's doing. A lot of the units that had this already were quality 4 anyway. So all your Sky City Dwarf stuff. And sadly for Sky City Dwarves as well, their army wide doesn't turn on for this, right? because they need to be shooting from 9 inches away.
That's absolutely brutal.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't make a difference if it was on a 4-up anyway, but yeah, you ain't getting that when you do the strafing stuff. So it's the boats, right? The boats used to have it, and yeah, I guess those guys do it as well. Yeah, so kind of interesting. I wonder. I mean, one interesting thing is, do balloon wardens have that hook gun? They do. Hit and run shooter aura. So you can now hit and run shooter aura, hover over it once per round, where all the models have a rule move up to 3 inches after shooting. So you can now strafe over someone, move 3 inches after doing it because you've just done shooting, and then continue your charge on your way. So there's now a use for that. That's extremely niche. Literally no idea where you're going to use that. But let me know if, like, for all 3 Sky City Dwarfs players out there, let me know if you ever get to use that, because that is
we
pretty
can't
fun.
even make the meme that there are dozens of us.
No, because it's not.
We await 3.6 when the Sky City Dwarfs get a glow up. Because that's happening, right?
Right.
Cool. Crossing attack. Yeah, and again, not going to change the landscape of the world, but cool. New things. Yep. Fun to see on probably underused rules. Dangerous terrain debuff now makes the unit count as being in dangerous terrain rather than making a test. We've spoken about this. It hedges off that abusive Havoc army that was out there in the wilderness, just ruining people. Good. Burn in hell. That was terrible. Feats now give a smaller bonus depending on the feat. So you've gone from a size 12 down to a size 9, which, as well, is probably better for the sale of shoes in the world. That was a shoe and a foot joke. Here's Orcs being a perfect example. They have the speed. Feet, where are you? Is it not here? Ooh, interesting. It's not there. Where is it? Or special rules. Special rules.
Click on a unit. Yeah, it's
speed feet aura. It gives speed feet. Yeah. There we go. It has to be there. I have to. Otherwise we tell Adam. We tell Adam his thing's broken. Speed feet once per game. When everyone's got it, you can either move 2 inches if you're using advance, or 4 inches for rush and charge. It gives you your one big explosive burst of speed to get into the back lines. Previously, it was 3 inches and 6 inches for these guys.
Yeah. Yes. So the change, I think, has gone from AP2 down to AP1. +2 to hit down to +1 to hit. 6 inches down to 4 inches.
Protection feet.
4 ups into 5 ups for protection feet. Yeah, I think they're the only 4 in the game.
Let's quickly on my other screen. I'm just going to have a look in Army Forge Studio, because there are things like evasive feat, fortification feat, which is AP -1 when getting shot at. I think there is a defense feat, precision feat aura. There's a courage feat for +1 to morale. So for all of those of you using Army Forge Studio, those things have also been dialed back.
Probably all by 1 there as well.
All by 1, exactly. Which I think is kind of good. I really like the feats. I'd love to see more application of them. But I think this is an absolutely fine change, because as well the cost is proportionate. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
Frenzy rules now only give 1 bonus each, and a bonus type was shuffled around between armies. So this is Destructive Frenzy, Piercing Frenzy, and Defensive Frenzy. War, Demons, Dark Elves and Dark Elf Raiders, and Dwarves and Dwarf Guilds. I think that's it.
Yep.
Which, again...
So this is one of those kind of interesting things where this is kind of pulling back on stacking of things, right? So where previously your War Demons got... they got Piercing Frenzy.
I think
they get Piercing Frenzy. They now no longer get that because they already have an offensive rule in them. So they now get the defensive one, which feels very, very weird that they're defensively frenzying. I mean, even that word sounds weird. Your dwarves now get Precision Frenzy, which is an attacking thing for the defensive army, and then Dark Elves, who had the kind of mobility type thing, have just been given the AP because that's also not aggressive. They do. They just have the other one. I don't think the frenzy rules are very good. I think it's because you're not benefiting from them until you've killed a unit. Oftentimes you won't get to benefit from them. Most of the time you benefit from them, you're probably already down to half. It works better with shooting than non-shooting things, especially for the piercing one and the precision ones. So but a lot of the units that have it don't have it. So it's not entirely true, right? Obviously, if you come out the ground with a million berserkers, then you're going to get some value out of it. But now that they're cheaper as well, because they only give half a bonus, they're probably just now an auto take, right? Because
I think they're like,
that's not that expensive.
They're not game breaking or game.
It was precision feat 5 there.
It was 5 points. Which
that's way too cheap compared to the AP one being a 15.
I've tried in the course of this chat to find a pen, which, as a lawyer, not finding a pen on your desk is, bad juju. Where have I left my pen? Because I want to make notes of checking Hive Lord, I want to make notes of checking this. Where's my pen gone? But yeah, that does seem very cheap. I think, I'm going to take the microphone with me while I look around my office. I think that this is a fine rule to have in the game. I think it's fine to bring it down to the ones. I hope I didn't deafen anybody by moving my mic whilst I was looking around then. Good old editing will fix that. It's fine, because I think it's kind of flavoursome, especially on the Berserkers. I think the Berserkers and the Witches are the best two instances of this being a cool kind of rule. And as well, I just love the Dwarf Berserkers, like the Dwarf Guild ones and the Dwarf Fantasy ones. So seeing them get better when they get ramped up into the fight is kind of cool. The Witches, they're terrifying, and I think gameplay-wise it's way more interesting, because if you let them pop off and blow something up with their, I don't know, A1, AP2, Blast 3 very cheap upgrades, then yeah, watch out, because these guys are going to start ripping through your army. Leave the War Demons alone.
I do think that, I don't know, for Dark Elves, at least for GDF, these witches aren't really benefiting that much from it.
Yeah.
Right? If you've got a low AP option, you're unlikely to kill a unit, and if you've got a high AP option, you don't need the AP anyway. So it ends up being like a weird one. I think for places where it might be useful is on like the True Warriors, where you have flamethrowers, where you could pop a weak unit and then have AP1 flamethrowers for the next turn, which is okay. It's not amazing, but it's something. But apart from that, like, what else you take on these guys? I guess you take the rending ones, which would be okay, hard to kill a unit with, or you take the AP4 guns, which are obviously very good at killing units, but completely waste the AP. So yeah, I think the AP one's a bit of a weird one, because you tend to pick the weapons you need for it anyway, and the chances of you then charging onto a primary target after having killed one target is
you're gonna get one extra use of this in a game, like. I think ever on. You might get two uses on some, but really you're going to get one good use out of this.
Yeah, so the precision one's good, and I think the defensive one is actually good. Bumping your defense up to a 3-up in Age of Fantasy is obviously quite potent for the old demons, especially because they're going to charge in and blow up most things. I think just the basic guys have got it. Yeah. They got the pit. Wait, no, that's the Aura. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Yeah.
So for only 5 points, right? These guys, if they kill a unit, which is likely, they're going to then be a 3-up, which is hard to deal with. And if they go on to charge another one, then they're up to 2-up, right? And that's obviously very hard to deal with. So
brutal that it's now in the same category as the Ambush Aura, because I was thinking that's a really fun, like, Death Ball unit. You ambush these guys, they go in, they frenzy. No, you're not getting that.
Well, unless they've changed it, that might work, because they never needed all the...
If all models have the rule, place a marker on it.
Yeah, so I think that's been changed, because it used to be all models with this rule got the bonus.
It was, yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of changes like that. So the feat ones as well, like a lot of the feats previously were auras, and I presume this has happened for the orcs. If it hasn't, then Tano, why did you kill my ghostly undead? But that is an aura. Never mind. No, so it's nonsense. Yeah. So for some reason, ghostly undead had theirs changed away from an aura, so now you can't embed heroes in the units. They're now just fixed costs for the units. I don't know why that's happened. Maybe that happened nowhere else. And he just came across it. He was like, "Well, fuck you guys, man. Fuck these guys."
No one else got precision feet.
No, come on.
Okay, that can go on the list. I hate including anything that is helping ghostly undead. I've been again abused by you too often. But yeah,
they're already one of those factions that have had like the custodian treatment, right? Where like every time a patch happens, one of the rules is incompatible, right? And you're like, oh my God, just let me embed my guys. But yeah, so they've now been changed. The next thing on the list is growth rules. So growth rules now give. So is this true? I don't think that is true unless I'm tripping. I think on the growth rules now they get +1 every round and every 2 tokens counts. Can you check out? I feel like I saw that earlier today.
Place some growth is. Place a marker on the beginning of each round. It's on the table and isn't shaken. Up to a max of 4. For every 2 you get 1 pip of your bonus.
Now let's go read the patch notes.
Oh.
So
yeah, that's not correct.
Well, I think that's describing the effect, isn't it?
+1 on rounds 2 to 3. Sorry, I misread that.
So you'll have 2 tokens at the start of round 2, so you get +1 of those, and you get +2. So this is the change, but it's worded weirdly because that's not what the rule reads like.
Yeah. But the rule for this is you put a marker down on the unit For each round that's on the table and not shaken. For every 2 markers, you get +1 pip of your bonus, which is AP1 on Alien Hive's Piercing Growth. This is one rule. I have no idea. Oh, no, I do know where it is. It's on Chivalrous Kingdoms. It's on the Peasants there.
It is
Precision
indeed.
Growth?
Yeah, and Infected Colonies was the other one. I don't know if that's on the zombies there, right?
I'm trying to manage.
I'm pretty sure Infected Colonies have precision on their zombies.
Precision as well.
Yeah.
And so if we go to the handy dandy website, let's use this. It's precision or fortified. This is fantasy.
Yeah.
Rift Demons of Plague. Yeah, there we go. It's on those.
True.
There we go. Oh, Human Inquisition have defensive growth as well.
Oh yeah, on their like weird indirect 12-inch shooter guys with the advanced shooting thing. Yeah, I mean, overall, sure, right? Like, the growth rules are fine. I don't think they've really changed anything about them, right? Because I think before they were +1 on round 2, round 3, and round 4, or something like that. So yeah, sure. I think it was capped at 2 before as well. So I don't think this really changed anything. It just slows it slightly because now round 3 isn't +2, I guess.
I think as well. Previously, you lost all your markers if you were ever shaken.
Yes, which does that. Well, I guess kind of. I think if your unit's shaken, it's probably dead. Not a huge change. So growth rules see a slight change. I presume this is maybe just more like a counting thing, less maybe.
I think this was something rather than being a gameplay tweak. I think this is rather than being a power tweak, it was a gameplay tweak to make it make more sense, and that's absolutely a good choice to make.
And maybe now you don't need tokens for it. Is that how that works? Oh no! It's being around if it isn't shaken, so you still have to place markers. If they got rid of the shaken tag, if you said you didn't get the bonus while shaken, but you still did the tokens, so you wouldn't even need the tokens in the first place. You just know that from round 2 I get 1, and round 4 I get 2, which would be a change because I don't think this is a problematic rule.
I think I just think that's a good rule. I've been saying this for a while. I'd love to see rules linked to which round of the game it is. If the game round number is even, +1 to hit. If it's
kind of mad to see 25 points here for precision growth, and the destructive one was 5 points.
Precision Alien Hives is piercing is 25.
No, sorry, I'm comparing this to the frenzy one, which were 5
this
points.
Is guaranteed, right?
Yeah, I mean, killing units is guaranteed. If not, you've lost the game anyway. So, like, sure, not every unit gets it, but yeah. Okay, cool. On to the next change.
Which is Infiltrate now deploys 3 inches away from enemies.
We've spoken about that.
We've spoken about that. It's a fine change. The thing to kind of think about with that one is things like the flayed ones in Robot Legions. I mean, Robot Legions have taken a pounding this patch. And that's just made them that little bit worse and harder to use. But again, that's kind of fine. Just a bit cleaner. Yep. Martial Prowess, we've spoken about this one as well. Human Inquisition are really in the bin at the moment. But let's see what happens in 3.6. I think, let them be in the bin. Their time will come. Nimble and derivatives. Let's talk through this, and you give me a reason. You give me some rationale and some level-headed talk about this, because this annoys me. Nimble and derivatives now place models within D3 inches. There's a bullet point missing, but within D3 inches. So previously, Elven Jesters, Deep Sea Elves, Wolf Battle and Prime Brothers, and I think that's it. At the beginning of their move, they moved 3 inches. What is now teleports? Now, it's D3. It's not even D3 +1. It's not bounding. Or I think that's now called dash. It's just D3 inches, which means that a third of the time, your units just move 1 inch more. It's random. It's awful. It's nerf. I do not like this. And it's hit armies that I think did not need to be nerfed.
Yeah, so this is the classic example of something random means that your opponent has to play around the maximum and you have to play around the minimum.
Yeah.
Like you have to go like, well, I'm probably going to get 1 inch, so I need to actually stand 17 inches away. I guess 13 inches away if I've got a 12-inch gun. And your opponent's going like, oh, well, actually, it could be 15 inches, so I need to stand 15.1 inches away, which is whatever, right? I mean, I think randomness with movement, like, someone made a point in the Discord being like, well, but now like you have a chance of like it's not completely worthless because sometimes you'll roll that 3. And yeah, that is true. That sucks. Like, yeah, 1,000% valid. You will sometimes roll a 6 or a 5 on your D3 and move 3 inches. And maybe it'll win you the game and maybe it'll be a huge moment. But you'll remember all the times you didn't.
All of them.
All the times. My experience with bounding has always been, it's like, I mean, bounding is +1 inch as well. It was effectively 2 inch charge, right? And this is effectively 1 inch charge because you have to play for it. So, the reason why this got nerfed is because mobility got nerfed in general.
Yeah, teleport going down. It wouldn't make sense for teleport to be 3 inches and for all of them to be 3 inches as well.
Yeah, a bunch of units lost fast, obviously. Lots of units went down to agile instead of fast. Going from 3 inches to an average of 1.5 inches is roughly in line with those things going down. So sure. But yeah, like I said, the word place is starting to lose more and more meaning, right? Because if you only move an inch, then that the place was completely irrelevant because your bases are 1 inch big. So there's nothing you could have done with that makes place any more exciting.
Next up is piercing precision spotters, tags, and targets. Now have a range of 30 inches, 24 inches, and 18 inches. This is absolutely fine.
Hopefully a buff to their costs.
Sorry?
Hopefully a buff to the cost, right? If they're less range, then maybe they cost less.
The one thing I've noticed is in Blessed Sisters, the Novice Sisters are just looking like an excellent unit. They got a bit cheaper, I think, this patch as well. And precision target, 25 points to place something down in 18 inches, and everyone gets +1 to hit it. For a 25-point upgrade that you can take twice if you want to be really cheesy, I think that's... Novice Sisters are a really good core unit to the Blessed Sisters roster now because of that. And so, yeah, I think it's absolutely fine.
I mean, like they weren't already, right?
Exactly.
When we did a review, like they're incredible. So
they are incredible.
Permanent +1 to hit is very powerful. I thought that was being nerfed as well. I thought that permanent aspect of it was being removed from the game. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know that the Jackals one is do it once, and this also got nerfed as well because it used to be Precision Tag 2 and now it's Precision Tag 1.
Which is weird that so this is 15 points for a 1 times use of 1 to hit, and the other one is 25 points for a permanent +1 for every unit that ever hits it, right? Which doesn't feel fair points wise. I think it's safe to say permanent +1 to your whole army against 1 unit versus 1 off.
Yeah.
I don't know why these two rules now exist alongside each other. The only thing you can do with precision target that you can't do with... So the only thing you can do... precision target doesn't stack. Precision tag does.
Yeah.
Because you can spend multiple tokens with precision tag, whereas you can't... One instance of the same rule doesn't affect multiple times, right? Actually, no, maybe not.
Bracket,
maybe it is.
The bracket means you can stack it.
So this is meaningless. Well, no, actually, because the bracket is how many things you place, right? But it does say
X markers on it. You get plus X to hit rolls.
But it does say +X, so yeah, it does stack. So I've literally no idea why these two rules exist alongside each other. One is just a better version of the other one, and not in like not in a meaningful way, in a way that makes Jackals go like, "What the? Like, why, dude? Why always me? You know?
Why always me?
Why always me? You know, like what? Why are the sisters getting it? They had the 12-inch requirement removed from their devout. Now they've got this shite.
Sisters they're eating.
Yeah, and this is cheaper now, obviously, because it's now 18 inches instead of the 24 or whatever it was.
Interesting. So, I don't know why that's been changed, but, whatever.
No, I think it's to distinguish between a spotter, a tag, and a target, I think. But, yeah, there's also this weird, you spend the token thing.
Meh. Sisters, good. I think that's the comment on that one. Clarified that piercing spotter, tag, and target only apply to weapons. Yeah, good, because when you have a piercing one and you try and impact with it, saves that.
Yeah, exactly, yep. So,
clarified,
keep going. No, it's fine, keep going.
Clarified that Retaliate is X hits per wound taken. So where do we see this? We see this on the Giant
Deep
Spores.
Sea Elves.
And the Deep Sea Elves and the Kingdom of Angels?
I think Retaliate isn't Giant Spores, right? You're thinking of Death Strike.
I'm thinking of Self-Destruct, Death Strike. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Deep Sea Elves, they're thingy riders. Worm riders have 2 upgrades.
Worm riders.
The Sea Worm riders, they can either get stealth or this. Retaliate 1, there we go. You're on the wrong one.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's Warrior Riders, sorry. Yeah,
it is Warrior Riders, yeah. Retaliate 1. Yeah. When this takes wound, it takes 1 hit per wound.
It used to say just one hit, I think.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm most interested with this. Oh, it's got to be elsewhere. Let's use this handy dandy tool. Retaliate. It's everywhere. Holy cow! Alien hives have it. Let's find out where this sits. Alien hives. Oh, it's on a hero. Bloodguard Brothers. Oh, of course, the Bloodguard Brothers have got that raft of upgrades where they can get rid of their best rule for some way less interesting rules. They can get rid of Melee Slayer to have Retaliate or Ravage.
Which costs them points, which is kind of wild.
It is absolutely wild. Right, okay. I think the interesting thing about this is really, again, Army Forge Studios. It'll be interesting to see if you can have Retaliate 3 on a unit.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I think those Sea Worm Riders, whatever they're called, not the Sea Worm, what are they called? Which ones were they? Warrior Riders. That Retaliate thing is a you definitely take that upgrade, right? That turns that unit, which is a squishy cavalry unit, into a squishy cavalry unit that absolutely blasts something that kills it on the snapback as well, right? Like so it's got wave step plus fast plus strider. It's got a lancer hits on 3s. It's got all the impact hits. You go flying in Age of Fantasy. You kill one unit. Somebody tries to kill it on the snapback, and you blow it up with 10 wounds, 10 hits back, right? Which in Age of Fantasy is going to do a huge chunk to a unit. Massively valuable upgrade. Great unit. Bring this in every single Deep Sea Elves list, and then try and find whatever the fuck you're supposed to take in this list.
This is not a Deep Sea Elves review video. Nope. Cool. Shrouded and derivatives can't make enemies go lower than 6-inch range and charge. We've spoken about that, and that's another one to put down on Shrouded. Rules texts. This is a feedback video. Good. Slayer now works when charging or when shooting at enemies over 9-inch away. My dwarves, no! Volcanic dwarves is who I'm thinking of here.
Just all the Slayers.
Is going to be
Berserkers, yeah.
When it charges. Yeah. I mean, the thing that's actually really stung by this, I mean, that I'm sad to see that. I'm really sad to see a condition get another condition.
Well, yeah, I actually think this is a buff anyway, because realistically, if your Berserkers are getting charged, they're probably dead. And now they pay less. Yeah, so there's like a charge modifier in the back end, which, if things have got that charge or the 9-inch tag, they save something like a third of the points or whatever. Okay. So it is cheaper. And then, so the Range Slayer is where it's the biggest impact. Obviously, you can see it's 5 points less now. It was 45 points before, now it's 40. Now, this kind of like doubles down on Dow being like a shoot you from 9 inches away army, right? Basically, all your firepower is there. And obviously, they've lost a bunch of uses of their marker. You'll be delighted to know, Dave, that the bikes have the piercing markers now. You did this to us. They've actually done it twice. You can put right down the feedback thing. I have actually done that. I've seen that.
Why am I getting blamed for this?
Because you kept rattling on about how bikes should have a use.
I mean the top 3 ones.
I know, which now I've had all that removed as well. So, So I think this, and interesting enough, the heavy stealth suit has still got access to it, which is a good unit anyway. So another one of those like tough 12s that's good anyway. That has access to it.
Yeah, it's good to see it here. Oh, has it gone down 5 points?
It has gone down 5 points. Yeah, because the AP scaling changed, I guess.
Whilst we're looking at tough 6 bucks, you keep talking. I'm going to check. Yeah, they do have it. Cool.
No, yeah. Literally, like I said before, if you're wondering where your marks have gone, go look at that shit tough 6 unit you never took, right? Hope you like printing and painting.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so the Slayer one now being that. A discount is good. I just hate the conditions. And I appreciate charging's a pretty binary. You're charging or you're not condition.
That's a chill nonsense.
One. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a whole new world that I have to get used to, and my fixed mindset says no.
Yep.
Interesting. Spell Conduit and Accumulator now only work whilst the unit isn't shaken. I need to just check what that means, because with Spell Accumulator is that you can't draw points from it, or it doesn't get the points.
It's probably both. I've not actually checked this. Straight to the one that matters. I think this is. This is a change, right? Let's see.
Friendly casters may only use the rule if this unit isn't shaken. So you still get the points. You just can't... friendly casters can't do it if this unit is shaken. Okay, I don't know why this is taking a nerf, because I don't feel like this rule was grossly powerful, either Conduit or Accumulator. Though saying that, I'm directing our attention to the Change Demons, who have got the filthy all ambush, a million casts of 6 hits AP1. So maybe it is
AP2.
Sorry, AP2. Yes, you are right.
I dare you.
How dare I?
I think this has been hit just because I think people often question what being idle means.
Yeah.
And it may have been the case that this was already intended to be that. Like, you're not idle if you're sharing tokens, which would be a fair interpretation. So I think this is probably more of a clarity thing.
Yeah. It's interesting that we don't have that clarity on the actual caster rule.
No,
which indicates that you can still draw tokens from a shaken unit. That has
yeah,
the caster rule.
Yeah, like one of those weird ways. Like where before you could have justified, neither of them could. Now you definitely can't.
Yeah. But fair enough. Spell Conduit's like a 10-point upgrade on most things anyway, but it's so good. But yeah, that's fine. It's just kind of curbing another thing in the game. Surprise attack metal deals hits the first time the unit is activated. We've spoken about that one. It's also on a 2-up now, so it's got some improvement to it.
Yeah.
Don't know how much difference that's going to make to the game. Have to wait and see. That rule's never really drawn me. I think the biggest drawback is the goblins and the halflings losing the load of hits they can get from it.
Yep.
Brill, surprise, piercing shot and strike only gives AP +1 when deployed. So this is like the feats thing being brought back. This used to be AP2. I think that's absolutely fine because it will be cheaper to match. So your Gloctopus is now more affordable.
Oh, it's so sad. Why would they nerf the poor Gloctopus?
Surprise, precision shot and strike now only give +1 to hit when deployed. So this is the same thing. Where do we have the surprise precision?
I don't think that's in. I personally have no idea where that is. That might be in one of the two skirmish lists. Search on the app.
Search on the app, on the Harvey app. Surprise attack.
No,
no, it's not there at all.
And in GDF.
And it might. Yeah, you're right. It might just be in skirmish. No, that's surprise attack.
It's called ambushing. That's why.
Oh, okay. I can't spell. Ambushing, piercing shots. Ambushing, piercing shots is there. We know about that. Check this game system. Piercing shots the same.
I don't think it exists.
Doesn't exist at all. In Age of Fantasy.
Yeah. And skirmish? No.
Right, over to studio. Ambushing, piercing and precision shot. Yeah, precision shot. I don't think it's on any armies. Yes, ambushing precision shot, it looks like, is on no official armies, according to Army Forge Studio. I think I'm interpreting that correctly. But again, go use Army Forge Studio. Make these cool things happen that we don't see anywhere else in the game. But yes, anyway, I think that's good.
Yeah, so this error in the patch notes, I should say ambushing instead. I think that's actually a rename as well. I think it was called surprise before that, but it's probably been renamed to distinguish from surprise attack. That you would have thought surprise attack would have got renamed to ambushing attack, actually, because they are all to do with ambushing. Who knows? But
either way, I like this kind of dialing back on these once per game effects. I just think you don't need +2 to things, really. +2 AP is fine, +2 to hit is strange. I think the weirdest thing for me about the +2 to hit thing is once per game that unit is excellent, but it's typically going to then be on a qual 4 thing, right? So the rest of the game is qual 4, which is just crap. Obviously, take that with a pinch of salt, but it just feels like such a huge switch off. So seeing it on a +1, we'll hopefully see some better applications.
Or at all, yeah.
Yeah, or at all. Or some applications. Teleport getting nerfed, we've spoken about that one at length. Versatile attack and derivatives, gross, only works over 9 inches away. This is a holding change for the conditions, and the 9 inches being removed in 3.6. For now, though, Duchies of Vinci... Did Duchies of Vinci get that, actually?
It's an army ride, so I'd be surprised they didn't...
Yeah, it is. RIP! I thought the Duchies of Vinci was super cool, and I hate this 9-inch thing. So, That's a stinker. I know why it's there. We're reducing lethality. All the reasoning is there. I just don't like it. I will grumble about 9 inches for a long time.
Interesting enough, though, that's kind of what they had before, right? Like, I remember a game between Warboss Fitz where he played Ghost of the Undead and against Vinci's, and they just turned each other's racials off.
They just turned them off, yeah.
So I mean, it's not too different. It's just a DAO thing applied to them. But now it does make that armor kind of weird because it's exactly the same as the DAO one, except now it applies to melee on theirs, and they also get to choose between to hit an AP.
They're just strictly Duchies of Vinci are just strictly better than DAO. You heard it here.
Yep.
Do you know what Duchies of Vinci are strictly better than within their own ecosystem? Is the Sky City Dwarves.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Sky City Dwarves. No one even thinks about those guys, okay?
R.I.P. the Sky City Dwarves. And then Age of Fantasy Regiments. Quickshot now allows you to use rush actions when also when moving sideways or backwards. Now, I've not played with that a huge amount. Regiments players, come and talk to me in the comments and we can talk about that a bit more. And then we've got some quest changes that I'm not going to dwell on here. We don't talk about quest. It's good fun. Go play it. But we're focusing on the battle games. Okay. Points, costs, updates. We haven't even got into the army updates. Thank you for saying. If you've made it this far into the video and you've not yet checked out, comment happy birthday Harvey down below, because after this video and between now and the next one, it is his birthday. He's so the ripe old age of 123. Fantastic. Points cost updates. Toughness scaling's been tweaked. Ooh, do we... the thing is...
I love a tweak.
How much do we talk about this? Yeah, tweaks. What is tweaked?
Love a tweaked.
Tweaked and fixed.
Yeah, so tweaked means increased in this regard, right? It's your tough things have got more expensive.
Have they? Because
yes.
Armor plane's gotten cheaper.
Yeah, so that's because of weirdness with aircraft and AP scaling. If you look at the most raw dog of tough 12s, which is the Carnivore Rex, that has gone up in cost.
Okay.
So previously it was 280. Now it's 295, right? That thing's got AP1 across the board, and none of the rules have been touched. So, yes, this has changed. Now, unfortunately, AP. I think it does it say about AP scaling in these notes. Does it say somewhere about AP? Yeah, at the very bottom. Decreased cost of AP scaling. In a patch about pulling back, for some reason, we have buffed AP scaling, blast, deadly, which are the most core ways of getting more damage out of a unit. I don't know why these are in this patch notes. I don't get the reasoning why you go like things need to be pulled back. Apart from AP, lad, come on, right? And I imagine as well what this has actually done is very subtly unnerved Hazardous, right? Because Hazardous is obviously costed like AP4, and that's been pulled back, and Hazardous took a cost increase. Ooh. So if Hazardous is now cheaper than it was before, then I don't even know what to say. But it does seem strange to me that we're doing these things in a patch that's meant to decrease this kind of stuff. But it is what it is. I mean, you can go check out Ratman. I wonder if what were their casters worth before?
65? Was it 70 points or was it 65?
No, it was 65,
it was 65 before.
Go check out some of their weapons.
So their weapons teams, these things, these A4 Hazardous, were they always 10 points? I want to say they were always 10 points.
Everything there seems really cheap.
It's this core 5. Core 5 on these guys is just drawing them back so much. Who else gets Hazardous? It might be actually more prominent in Grim Dark.
Ratman Clans might be, yeah. Ratman Clans might be obvious because there was that 210 point unit, whatever it was.
Let's check them out. Ratman Clans. Also, some of the high fierce minis are coming out. I'm so gassed for Ratman Clans. Rat Ogre Bodyguards. Nope, Rat Ogre Agents.
So it's now 205 points for those. I think they were 210 before, right? But that's also got the blast modifier on it, so who knows? Either way, I think it's very strange that we're doing these things in a patch where the idea was to pull back on stuff, right? It's very strange, but it's what it is.
But the toughness scaling being
the
tweaked.
snipers.
Yes, I think
they were exactly 200 points, right?
For two of them.
I remember.
Was that not fantasy?
No.
I've opened so many tabs, I'm losing my mind. What did the sniper say? 115? Yes, these guys have gone up.
These guys went by quite a lot. Something else happened here. Didn't go up. Stealth went up as well, though. Either way, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay. It's somewhat adjusted the cost of hazardous despite hazardous going up. So, I mean, the fact that we don't notice the difference means that is accounted for it. So it's basically, I mean, yes, it's a nerf relative, but honestly, like, yeah.
We've digressed to talk about AP and hazardous and the likes, but with toughness, yes, sadly, custodians, my friends, we are more expensive now. Your big fat fatties, your Carnivore Rex, your other tough 12s, they're going to be slightly more expensive. This isn't dramatic. That is the one thing I would note. Like, people have been saying, I've seen a lot of commentary in the Discord about, oh no, my army list has gone up 40 points or 60 points, and this was a nerf patch. Let's remember that. And I think that's not huge. There are some lists that have gone up 10%. They've gone up 200 points on 2K or more, 400 points. Warboss Fitz was saying about one of his lists. And that's kind of fine. The toughness isn't as dramatic as the change in the decrease from 3.4 to 3.5 when custodians went from like 210 points for a model to 190, which, you know, we're going up 5, so we're getting there. But it is a subtle tweak, I think, that you'll see more at the tough 12 range. But even then, 15 points on the Carney, it's kind of fine. Okay, let's keep going. Cost of aura type rules now scales with unit size. We touched on this earlier. Let me show you the most painful example, which is Custodian Brothers. So this is where regen aura was like 30 points previously, and now it actually is addressing the fact it's on a tough 3, block of 3 with def 2 up. Regen aura is 55 points on the Custodian Brothers. Where else do we see regen auras? In the Battle Brothers and in the Prime Brothers. So let's just pick Blood. On the Destroyers,
HDF as well.
HDF. So on the Destroyers, it's now 55 points. So this is telling me that it's based on the tough 3 and the unit of 3 thing. That's 55 points. HDF on a unit of 10 guys, it's 40 points. 10 infantry squad, also 40 points.
Yeah. Whereas before it was cheap,
it was really, really cheap. But then you still see it at a reasonable, like, pre-tweak level on the units of 5. So the Berserkers, 20 points for these.
That's cheaper.
Is that cheaper? Was it 25 or 30?
It was 30 on everyone.
Yeah. So a benefit for those of you bringing the not tough units.
Yeah, they're not 10 stacks. Which the theory here is that they're now costed correctly, right? They're costed based on the unit. So I mean, to me, paying 20 points for regen on a unit, I was auto taking it on. It highlights, I guess, some of the issues with maybe the cost of regen. You know, like if 30 points was a fine cost to pay before and it's now been reduced to 20 points and that's now more fair, then maybe regen's always been too cheap.
The thing that we've not raised about it, like we've been focusing on regen, but the thing we've not raised is that you'll have seen the cost of your command.
Oh yeah,
increase.
Some of them have gone down to 5. They've not increased. Banner's gone up there, yeah. But if you Ghost the Undead, is it Ghost the Undead? I saw one of the. I've not really built with a lot of them today, but I definitely saw a unit that had 5s all around. And I can't remember where I saw that.
Maybe in
Glavestalkers.
Glavies, where are you? You're down here. Oh yeah, wow.
So 5s all around. No idea why. They're identical to stat wise to Ghost Swords. Maybe it's a rounding thing. But yeah, nice and cheap.
I'm writing that one down.
I think it is a rounding thing. It just means that Glavestalkers are rounded up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, very interesting. But what that means is these sorts of things are typically getting more expensive, but on your blocks of 5, they are getting cheaper. Which
actually, I mean, is that even
wrong before?
I mean, is it actually more expensive, right? The only thing that's gone up is Banner, right? Banner has gone from 5 to 10. Musician's
I meant
10.
more generally about
auras,
rather than
for sure,
strictly just about full command.
Yep.
Banner 5 points on Storm Veterans. Whew. Qual 3. Also, interestingly, the morale test rolls for Banner doesn't apply only to being shot at or attacked in combat.
No,
Banner morale aura is for all morale checks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that aspect of you'll see some points cost changes there. Now, what is the impact of that in the game? custodians can die a bit more, really. That's what my mind is at. The regen upgrade, if people are bringing like blocks of 6 destroyers, that's going to get worse. Interestingly, so it's more expensive on things like HDF, the HDF infantry. It's going to be more expensive on things like the Blessed Sisters infantry, the warriors, the Battle Brothers.
I mean, to be honest, as you list these, it seems fair.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly, like, it doesn't make any sense that regen costs the same amount across the 2 different things before, right? One was 9 and one was 5 wounds, right? Sure. I think, regen's one of those things though, where like we've said this loads of times on the channel, when regen is good, it's too good.
Incredible.
Yeah. When regen is bad, it's useless. So yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, there's a whole load of fixed costs. We've talked about the on 6 effects and reroll 6s to block.
Yep.
Fixed costs of evasive and derivatives. Now, I haven't seen too many of these to really dwell on.
What I find fascinating about the language here, though, is fixed cost of evasive, which is completely a vibes rule, right? Like, how do you...
What, the minus 1 to hit?
No, evasive is... can't be charged, isn't it, right? Melee evasion?
No, that's shrouded.
Oh, the fact that they got switched back and forth always confuses me. In that case, yeah, sorry, that is not a vibes rule. But I guess it kind of is a vibes rule, because you don't know what's attacking you.
That means stealth, though, as well.
But stealth, yeah. What this means is more expensive.
Okay.
Stealth's got it.
I was going to say, I think that evasive, I thought that was the same cost, but that could be 5 points different. But I think, yes, the big ones kind of dwell on there is stealth has gotten more expensive. There will be static rules that are just by default slapped onto your units, like stealth, and we will come down to Strider in a minute, that have increased. And that's why you see things like the reports of, holy crap, my army's gone up 10, 20%. And it's because of things like that. But they're powerful rules. Tano's rhetoric in the Patreon channels in the run-up to this was going, we were underpaying for them before. They were not correct. And so now they are far more representative of how these effects should interplay in the game.
Yep.
And fine, fair enough. We're in a whole new world. I'm not going to cry too much about it. I think that's kind of fine.
Here's a vibes one. How do you cost a feat? Nobody knows. You
vibes it by taking speed feat. Because it's now dialed back to the same as fast, quarter it.
Right, which is wrong, right? Which is wrong, right? Yeah. But yeah, I have no idea what fixed costs. Yeah, but yeah, it's been fixed. We should celebrate. So yeah, and then the same fixed cost for what else is the quick strike, which is is quick strike the opposite of unwieldy? I don't even know. What...
Quick strike is on high elves in. Oh, are we in fantasy?
It's one word.
Quick. Over to Armforge Studio I go to see what Quick Strike is. What do we think Quick Strike is?
Counter?
No, counter is counter. But you're in the right lines.
Well, whatever counter is without the -1 impact thing, is it not that?
Nope. That is counter attack.
Yeah. So what's Quick Strike then?
Quick Strike is you strike first with this weapon when charged. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. Sorry, it's counter-attack, yes.
Yeah, counter-attack, yeah.
It's counter-attack.
So once again...
I was being a smug idiot thinking it was something else, but I'm an idiot there. Sorry, everyone.
What does fixed here mean? Nobody knows, right? There is no fixed cost for attacking. Yeah, okay, cool. That it should say that, right? It's not fixed, is it, really? Because it's a vibes-based rule. Fixed cost of self-destruct, sure. Fixed cost of shrouded and derivatives. There's a vibes-based one. Another vibes one.
There you go.
Fixed cost of transport spawn on aircraft, once again.
This means
what
increased.
the fuck does that mean? That means increased. Fixed cost of unstoppable, any idea?
Haven't the foggiest on this. This is something I've not analysed yet. Where will we see that? We'll see that in the DAO. Most importantly, I think, on the battle suits, which is to check on... Where is it? Disintegrate unstoppable 5 points. I'm seeing no difference there. Then you'll see it on the anti-aircraft units. So we're going to look at Prime Brothers here. If we go into Blood, let's have a quick check on the ridiculously expensive squad of 5 guys.
Suppression guys? Are they called suppression?
Suppression's the sniper. No, suppression's the ambushing, relentless things. Blaster Brothers? Desolator Brothers. These things. With an unstoppable upgrade, Unstoppable's gotten cheaper, it would look like.
I
think patch?
Yeah.
Oh, they 1 AP2? I can't remember because I never built with this unit. I'm not sure what that one quite means, but good. It's been addressed and fixed.
How do you fix the cost of that? Literally no idea. Right, that's a complete device-based thing as well.
Also, we've not really played enough, I think, with Unstoppable.
Yeah,
right?
Unless, like, the only thing that fix could apply for is if there's some sort of egregious, like, it was multiplying by itself 4 times over bug.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure I believe that one.
Did I see someone comment about that, about stacking things like ignores regen? Maybe, I can't remember. That is a vibes-based memory in my head. Let's go on to the flat nerfs. And this is where we're going to see a lot of the cost change. Really, they aren't dramatic. It is a few points here and there, but it's interesting to see. Increase the cost of ambush and derivatives. So that's also going to include infiltrate. Increasing the cost of ambush. I think that's probably fine because it's already incredibly powerful in the base game.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. The problem will always be, you've got the base game, you've got progressive, you can't balance ambush, you can't balance scout. There needs to be some solution to that before you can really balance them. I often find with these point costs where they're like being tweaked by like 5 points, where I'm like, well, like, yeah, I guess that is a nerf. But this patch had so many changes in it, it's really hard to nail down what's actually changing units.
It is, and I think we can do an overall roundup on our view on the patch, which we've already kind of given, but we can give a bit more detail on it later. But yes, I think this is, well, obviously, it's enough, increase the cost of it, but it's not dramatic. It's going to be a few points.
I mean, yeah, I think 90% of these can be summarized as well, right? So we've got increased cost of ambush derivatives, coordinate, fast, flying, scout, strider, transport on aircraft. That's basically saying, like, fuck mobility, right? We've nerfed mobility all around the board, and we want it to be seen less around the game.
The strider cost feels particularly painful. I've mentioned robot legions, and they have so much strider on their army. It feels like that with the tough changes, with the shred weapon nerf and increase in their costs. Yeah. Robot legions have just been hosed this patch. They're so expensive now. But you're very right. Mobility is what is being hit, and that's what Tano's spoken about. Bringing it all down because it's a little bit too good at the moment, and I think that's okay.
Yep, that's fine with me. And then mixed into here, there's increased cost of coordinate, which I've never seen anyone use coordinate. Never really seen the appeal of it. I feel like it was one of the rules that didn't really land, especially alongside precision shooter. So yeah, whatever. Increased cost of hazardous and reinforced, I think, is good, right? That's fine,
this reinforcement nerf isn't hard enough, I think.
No, that's
still massively powerful.
I missed off counter. I think counter, that's basically an AOF thing, right? Really, right?
Quick strike and
it's basically never really used in GDF. And then shred, another shred nerf. Sure, right? Not really sure. The shred thing comes up in Discord all the time. Someone says like shred is equal to AP1. Tano says no, it's not, and it goes back and forth. And we see shred just change all the time. And then increased cost of spell queuing and spell conduit. We've just looked, clearly not by enough, right? Because the cost hasn't actually changed.
The way of checking this in my mind is on Blessed Sisters. It was like 5 or 10 points on a novice leader, and now it's 15. Okay, again, another very small nerf. Lots of little chip increases here, just dialing back on the power of the game, which was the intention of this patch. So that's fine. Strider mentioned about transport, mentioned about versatile and derivatives.
You probably won't see that one because they've now got the condition on them.
Yeah,
but yeah,
fine.
Sure. Yeah,
and then you've kind of spoken about this at length, and I've not really dwelled on this too much. Decrease the cost of indirect. You can't decrease the cost of this enough because voluntarily taking a -1 to hit when you move is insane in my mind.
This is being changed in the future. I think that's why it's been buffed here.
Yeah,
it's like saying like his little holdover.
These two things though. AP scaling, blast, and deadly scaling. And when you decrease the cost of deadly scaling, you nerf toughness. That's an important thing to think about here. Yep. So there's 2 nerfs to tough coming in. I don't think it's going to be painful. I actually hadn't really noticed this yet, and now I'm going to pay a lot more attention to it. Because, for example, in my mind, the Orcs melee walker has the ability to swap out its deadly weapons for A4, AP4. it's always been a 5-point upgrade, and it is still a 5-point upgrade. And there's going to be the shift there, I think, of the ferocious special rule getting more expensive, but AP getting cheaper, balancing out.
Yeah, I think I don't know. So there was a couple of bugs at the start of this patch, but I think someone said their melee walker got cheaper. Which
Someone did say that.
Which I believe actually. It's now 295 points with the 2 AP4 claws on it, and I think it was 300 before, wasn't it?
You're asking me a hard question, but
yeah,
that will be then because of the deadly and the AP changes.
Yeah. So yeah. Interesting.
We're going to say the words interesting quite a lot, which might not be interesting to hear, but in our minds it's because amongst the absolute sea of changes, it's hard to dwell on the individual effect of one of these changes.
Exactly, yeah.
And we've talked about indirect. Interesting. There's that word again. If you're playing the Don't Think Just Charge drinking game at home, interesting can go on your list. Does that make support grunts even better? Where are they? Where are you, my friends? That are my friends for as long as Relentless is decent. Support grunts 145 points. I don't think they got cheaper. No. Pierce and grow 30 points, you can get fast. Okay, so again, these are all subtle changes, very, very small. Which is going to result in a slight shift in landscape, but not dramatic.
Well, one thing I would say, the rounding to 5 thing really comes in when you see changes like this, right? Because really what you're doing is you're nerfing things that were on the break point and you're not nerfing things that weren't, which feels a little bit arbitrary, you know?
Yeah.
I think, you know, if we're going to nerf things, then you should probably validate that it's gone up by 5 points on every somewhere, right, for everyone. Because I think without that, it does feel a bit hollow.
It's a tricky point to say that when you've got this universal calculator and you make changes, do you want to go through and check every fallout of that in your official books? That's a lot.
If only there's a way of doing it like quickly and automated with a computer, you know? Like, come on. Like, the calculator is a fucking computer, right? Like, we can't start saying, like, we gotta get manual on this shit, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. If you write something for it, then fair enough, you can do it and check. A guy in our Discord, obviously, we haven't spoken about this, has dropped a really cool vibes-coded analysis, comparison website. Stabbed my face off. Joe has shared a link. Go join our Discord, check the OPR general pins, and you'll see it, where you can compare patch versions of armies, and it runs from 3.5.1. And that's a very interesting way if you do want to go and find a bit more detail. Go and have a look at all of that.
Yep.
Let's get back to this, and now we can move on to the general army updates. General army updates. Let's start with, obviously, the general ones, mostly because they're here in front of us. Well done, Dave. Reduced access to armor specialties to be on fewer units. We've discussed that. Reduced access to marks and debuffs to be on fewer units. We've discussed that. Army standard bearers and similar now have Fear 2, so this is a nerf from Fear 3. I'll be interested to see if anyone really feels too much of an impact. Obviously, the cost will scale with that, and I think that's fine. Fear 3, where are we seeing it? You were using it on your ogres to get Fear 5.
Yeah, this is obviously a fantasy nerf, right? There were a couple of instances in GDF, I think just custodians. Maybe infected colonies? No, I don't think infected colonies had it. I think it was just custodians. Surely not. No.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, like, the Fear Ban has always served a very similar role to casters, in that you bury it in a unit and it's really effective as the unit runs out, right? Because you consistently get this 2 extra damage. It's not actual damage, but, you know, you win combats and things are good. So in AOF, you can see it being used in, like, spear stacks, right? Big, scary spear stack with Fear on top of it, making it hard to break. Bringing this down to Fear 2 obviously makes that slightly weaker, but does make it cheaper. I still would have preferred just to put casters in those style of units, because I think casters have a more proactive role. So I think this is fine. It's one of those changes where it's like, well, yeah, someone's going to be really disappointed. If you are out there, you know, I'm sorry this happened to you.
If this is a bad thing for you, let us know. I think 20 points for a Fear 2 upgrade. I think that's actually probably more inviting now. I think I've taken the Fear 3 upgrade once or twice, and it's in
60
stacks.
points. 60 points. All right.
Well, okay, because you're also putting it on the leader.
And like, do I really want that over like Wild Veil Boost or whatever, or like fucking Melee Slayer or something like that, right? I just don't think so, right? I think if anything, it needs to be more impactful, not less. It needs to be something that really, really like fuck you, bro. I mean, I've always been in the sense that I think sergeants should give Fear 1.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really nice use of sergeants, right? Because I think right now
anti-fear, right? You can't take one fewer.
I think one more would be fine, right? Like they're sergeants, they're supposed to be badasses, right? I think this is mostly just targeted at fear stacking, like you said, or like fear fights quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the most of the time you take fear, you're taking it because it was like a solo hero.
So again,
fine change.
Fine change.
Much. Yeah.
Hero upgrades that give repel ambushes are now part of the mount category. So that's to say that it's here, whereas repel ambushes used to be a standalone option for an upgrade. Now it's compiled with all of these ones that would be with, as said, the mount upgrades. That's a nerf to repel ambushes that I understand why it was done, because it kind of makes more sense for those upgrades to be stacked together, but that's just an overall buff to ambush, I think, because it makes repel ambushes way less appealing as like, I have 15 points left, let's throw it in.
The only thing this changes is when you had a hero on a horse mounted in a unit, right? Because if it was mounted on a mount, you didn't give a shit about ambushing on top of you because you were on a fucking dragon, right? So you don't care. And if you're a tough one guy, you're taking it anyway, right? So the only thing that's really nerfs is that middle ground, right? Where you're still embedded in units and you don't want things thingy. So, I mean, it's very fortuitous you've got it open, but Human Empire is a perfect example. The horse marksman, right? They'd love to have a guy with precision shooter buff inside them. That means that they hit on their 4s instead of hitting on their 5s, and got their Gatling guns and all this kind of stuff. And then they'd like to be able to ward off ambushes as well, and they can't do that anymore because instead they have to pick a horse. So yeah, just sure. I think this is the consolidation piece more than anything else. I don't think it was intended as a balance change. It's just
I think it was tidying things up. Crossing Barrage and Crossing Strike were replaced with equivalent weapons. So this is what we were briefly poking around at before. Mm-hmm. What's happened to Vultures? Have you looked at this? They've still got it. Wait, did we already?
Vultures had crossing attack before. Yeah. So there's crossing attack, crossing strike, and crossing barrage. Crossing barrage was the blast damage. Crossing strike was AP 1, 3 hits, and crossing strike was just 1 hit. And strike was 1 hit. Crossing strike is now a wound, so that still exists in the game. All the other crossing things have now been turned to equivalent weapons, so they either are now AP1 blast, or they're just 3 hits AP1, or whatever. I can't think of an example of... I think crossing strike and crossing barrage are now the same thing. I think crossing strike previously wasn't blast, and is now blast instead, but either way.
That's the Kings of Angels thing.
Yeah, I think this is a good change. Like, I think it's a good use of a new keyword, right? And it simplifies things a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And as well as part of that whole weapon reduction thing, which we are coming on to now.
Yeah.
And so let's actually just deal with this. I'm not going to go through them all and go through what they want.
Let's play one game of Do We Know What the Fucking Rule Is?
No, I'll tell you right now, I don't.
All right, well, I'm going to give him my best shot. Crush.
Crush. No, I do know this one. I think I know the difference on this one. Crush was on 6s it deals a wound, and Ravages on 6s it deals a hit.
No, I think Crush was one hit with AP2.
Okay.
I mean, bring up Studio on the side so we can check this as we go along. But I think Crush was one hit with AP2, and I think Ravage is 1 wound.
Crush has gone from Studio. Ravage is wound.
Okay. It's just been deleted. That's not very OPR. You're looking in the weapon rules section.
I'm looking in rules, and rules has everything.
Okay, well, rest in peace, Crush. If anyone remembers what Crush did, then let us know in the comments. Shatter. Now works against you with top 3 or higher.
No, I know. I think I know what Shatter was.
Oh, yeah?
Shatter was this weapon gets blast. Oh, wait, hold on. Is Shatter ignores regen and this weapon gets blast?
I don't remember Shatter at all, to be honest. If Shatter used to be the Def 5 thing, I don't think it did, though. I think that was Slam and shit. I think that one's just gone. I have no memory of ever seeing Shatter in the game.
No, obviously it's a tough thing, so I'm wrong about Blast. It's AP, so Shatter must be.
Was that the? Oh, actually, was that the Eternal Dynasty rule? Right, AP4 against AP4 against tough 3.
Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, it's not gone. Let's have a look. Eternal Dynasty. Drum roll. Does Harvey know what he's talking about? No.
Oh, tear is what they've got now.
Shatter, Lust, and Sky City Dwarves, and I'm looking at Skirmish still, aren't I?
Yep. That was interesting. That's
what it is now.
But is that a new Skirmish change? Go back. Wind this shit back. Skirmish against non-hero units with tough 3 or more.
Interesting. I don't know if I've noticed that.
Heroes got a random buff. Who knew? That's what they needed, right? They weren't good enough in Skirmish games.
How much has Skirmish accidentally changed here? Because I remember that there were a load of updates to phrasing and things. We might have to have a look at Skirmish again at some point soon. To see what's been changed there. Right, so Shatter is now AP +2 against units with tough 3 or more. The problem is that where do we see it in the game is actually going to be way more important and informative. We see it in... This is Fantasy Skirmish. Let's just have a look at Grimdark Future, where AP is premium. Holy cow, it's everywhere. Blood Prime Brothers. Let's see who has weapons with Shatter.
That's why I don't know about it. It's a Prime Brothers rule. Of course.
Anti-Gravity Pistol. A2 Shatter. NAF. Combat Walkers got it somewhere.
Have they now? I don't remember them having Shatter before.
I don't either.
I think, is that a new rule? Maybe it was in the back end and now it's been applied. Just scroll further down. Does it say things have been replaced with Shatter? Because I don't remember anything about it. Yeah, there we go. Scratch and Demolish were replaced with Shatter.
There we go.
So I wonder if Shatter's new.
Jackals and who had Demolish? I can't remember.
Scratch on something else as well, though, I think. It wasn't just Jackals, but yeah. Okay, so either way, we're 0 and 2 for knowing.
Right. we suck at this.
Tear we do know. We've just seen
Tear we do know. No, Tear. So Tear was the Custodian special rule that was giving AP against things that were tough. 3 to 9.
Yeah.
I nearly said tough 12 or higher, but it was...
Yeah, tough 3 to 9, yeah. So that is now just tough 9 or higher, which, is better, I guess.
You get AP against non-APCs.
Unless you do. Unless they're blood. Yeah. I think it's a buff.
Is it a buff?
I still don't know if you take it, but,
I still
it's
don't
interesting.
know if you take it, but it is interesting.
I think we said this before, but the problem with Tear is that it gives AP4, right?
Yeah.
When what you'd like to see is a weapon with AP2 that has Tear that gives 2 AP. AP4 is so, it's on or it's off, right? Which doesn't feel like worth taking compared to just taking the halberds, which I think are just AP3, aren't they? Or spears, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the spears are just A3, AP3. Okay, so only works on tough 9 or higher. It's a buff, but again, as well, I think from what I've seen and I recall in the application of Tear, it's still all AP0 without this, and because it's the AP4 thing, that makes sense. Yeah. So it doesn't feel great yet, but we'll see how things play out in the future when we get into 3.6.
All right, big boy, here's some good ones.
Okay.
Here's some good ones. Okay, so we've got Wreck, which previously existed in the robot guys, the machine cult. Wreck was in
robot guys.
Yeah, Wreck was in their rules, right?
Talking about robot legion.
No, so Wreck was in machine cult. Thrash was in Rebel Guerrillas. Bash was in Normal Brothers, I think. And was Smash in Normal Brothers? No, was Smash?
I think Smash was
in Eternal Wardens. Yeah, Smash was Eternal Wardens. So Smash was AP4. No, Smash was Blast
3
against Def 5 or higher.
Def 5 or 6.
Which is also what Thrash and Bash do. So those three are the ignore cover, ignore regen.
Yeah, there we go.
Right. But wreck, I think that was ignore cover, wasn't it? It was ignore cover plus 6s
Right,
do
it
AP
was
2.
machine cults. Now it's ignores cover, and when attacking, the target must reroll unmodded rolls of 6.
Maybe that's what it was previously.
Check.
Well, no, I think because it's been replaced with lacerate, right? So maybe it was that before. I remember it got like a really minor buff, and that does sound about right. Because before it was just cover. Oh yeah, does this thing have the rules description in it?
Yeah. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for the machine cults. Machine cults. Also, Alien Hive's got a lore update. There's another thing that happened that I wouldn't have known about if it wasn't for this website. Spells, unit changes. What am I looking for here? Wreck?
Yeah.
Is it going to tell me?
It might not tell you, but it's on the vehicles. On the like the carrier vehicle, or it's called landing craft.
Landing craft.
Right. Yeah, it's there for Twin P gun. Just says that it's lost it. Damn it.
Just says that it's lost it.
It's interesting that it's not the top there, because there's no section for
description,
spells, special rules. Oh, it's empty.
Oh, okay.
Oh no! You click on it. Click on it. Right? There we
go. Wreck ignores cover and unmodded 6s.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's still. So yeah. There we go. They've all been replaced with lacerate.
Yeah.
The reroll. The reroll. The reroll one. Yeah. Let's have some rerolls in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these rules absolutely sucked. Right? Yeah. They were terrible. Right? Like, because the problem they had, right, was because they were conditional blast. It meant that the base weapon had to be treated like it had blast the whole time. So what that meant is, especially for poor Eternal, not Eternal, what are they called? Eternal Wardens. Yeah, Eternal Wardens. Their weapons were like AP4 smash.
High AP
so it was
smash.
like high AP, but against Def 5 and 6 you get blast. So against most things you get 2 attacks AP4. Against specific things you get 2 attacks AP4 blast 3 against Def 5. It was bonkers. All replaced with lacerate. Sure.
Yeah.
Did that change happen with the? Did they have more attacks as well, or are they just?
Oh yeah, Eternal Wardens are looking so much better. So much better.
So they're now. I presume is it now a 4 attack weapon then? 4 attacks AP4 with lacerate or something.
They are. So who was on? It was on maybe Eternals. Yeah, A2 AP2 blast 3 lacerate.
Oh, it's now just got blast instead. Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, like. What a glow up for the Eternal Wardens this whole patch is.
Massive glow up.
So I think, that's good. Whatever, let's have... It's all of the variant keywords aren't needed. It's just add, ignores cover, ignores regeneration. Add that as a separate keyword, which I think is in the design scope for 3.6. Slash and Butcher were replaced with Surge. Butcher was Vampiric Undead, but I cannot tell you what these did.
I don't know, but the Butcher was in Plague Demons.
Was it not Vampiric Undead?
I don't think it was. Maybe it was in both, but I'm pretty sure Vampiric Undead got the Reap thing. Now, what did Butcher do? I think Butcher was 6s, got AP2. Plague Demons.
Oh, that's Plague Disciples. My bad. Plague. Wormhole Demons of Plague.
Yeah. All right, scroll down to that special rules section.
We are looking for Butcher.
Butcher. There's Butcher.
Oh yeah.
Oh, one extra hit. Okay, so it's Surge but with ignore regen, and Slash must be Surge but with ignore cover.
Must be. Looking at Army Forge Studio, yes, ignores cover.
Okay.
The good.
Well,
just
Sure,
simplify
yeah.
it. We don't
Didn't
need
them.
all these ones. Just make it with the additional keyword.
Okay. It's the same thing here. Fracture and Break are both the AP2s on 6s. One was ignore cover, which I think was Fracture, and Break was ignore regen. Then I guess.
And Crack was High Elf Fleets. I can't remember where Fracture. Oh, Fracture was in Robot Legions. I think it was on the Warriors.
Yeah, I can't think where Break is. No, was it? Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. So
Pulverize, Pierce, Perforate, and Rupture.
Now this is not.
Oh no! Hold on. Wait. Destructive was what was.
Destructive is rending without regen, ignore regen, right? So that's on 6s.
Okay.
Now these ones. So Pierce is from Wood Elves.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is when you hit and they roll a 1 to fail, or when you roll a 6 to hit. Yeah, when you roll a 6 to hit, if they fail the wound, they take 2 wounds.
Now, one of those was also in the Mummified Undead spell list.
Yeah, perforate.
Was that perforate then? Okay, so all of these things were on 6s to hit. Unblocked attacks deal an extra wound.
Yeah. So why are there 4 of them?
Because Destructive is just AP2 on 6s, I think, isn't it? Oh no, Destructive is now on unmodded rolls of 6 to hit, they get AP4.
Yeah. No, that's always what it was. That's not changed.
So interesting that things like the 6s unblocked do extra wounds are gone, I'd imagine, here.
Yeah,
But
it's because they're roughly equivalent, right?
Yeah. Whatever the ruling and the reasoning is, good. Those on 6s to hit unblocked wounds deal extra wounds slows the game down so much more. And so
it
also
Giga triggers your you don't like your double conditionals.
Yeah, just
it's a double conditional.
It is a double conditional. So that's a good tidy up.
Slam and
Quake were replaced with Shred, and Slam and Quake were the same as Shred, but with ignores regen, ignores cover.
Yeah, I think Slam was ignores cover, and that was in Havoc Warriors, and Quake was in Dwarf Guilds.
Yes.
Yeah, which is ignore regen, which is very good.
Fine to see that go down to Shred. Here we go. Sever, that was the Vampiric Undead one. Yeah. Reap, Fragment, Decimate, and Purge were replaced with Disintegrate.
So these are all different levels. So Disintegrate is now Defs 2 and 3 you get AP2 against.
Yeah.
Right? All of these were differing varieties of that. So Disintegrate was against Def 2, you get AP2. I think Reap used to be 3 and 4s. You get AP2 or something like that. Or 2 and 3s or something like that. And then Purge, that's the Blessed Sisters one.
It was, which was 2s and 3s.
Yeah. So yeah, they're all just varieties on that with the extra rules.
Yeah. Good. Especially with this, where we had a range of Def 2 to Def 3 or Def 2 to Def 4, you get different levels of AP. Smush that down to Disintegrate, which is...
Yeah, just one rule.
Just one rule. Good. Scratch, that was Jackals, and Demolish were replaced with Shatter. Where was Demolish?
So Scratch is the AP thing. Is Demolish is the Dow one. Or was that Decimate?
That was Decimate.
Demolish. I think I've seen that on a hammer somewhere. Demolish. I have literally no idea who had Demolish.
No. Well, I think this is all just really strongly showing
that these things need to go. You know, like oftentimes in this channel, I will pull from my encyclopedic knowledge of the game and pull out an obscure unit that has exactly the right stats. The fact that I can't fucking do this, just go, no one in the world probably could, right?
That's a challenge. I'd love to see that.
This next, look, I mean, some of these names are just like wild.
They're all great words, but we don't need, I think, and this is the point, right? They're brought in to increase the range and variation of weapon rules in the game.
Yeah. And they sold at least one thesaurus as well.
Oh, they sold? Dictionary.com got an extra subscriber. But in terms of actually making the game simple, it's not needed. And so Splinter, Puncture, Impale, Skewer, and Chop were replaced with Tear. Yeah, this is all now down to, against things with Tough 9 or higher, you get AP.
Also, Tano is pretty vocally anti-AI for his design work as well. So most normal humans would have just used AI to come up with all these names. But Tano will have slogged it out. And I can't imagine anything worse. The worst way to spend my evening than coming up with synonyms for crack, you know? I literally just can't. I can't, right? I would have sat down and I would have immediately checked out. I would have been like, you know, fuck this. Actually, I'm gonna go cook dinner. I'm literally, I have no interest. My brain cannot even. Right, I would have rather called them slasher, slashiest, most slasher. Like I literally would have rather that than come up with a name for them.
I look forward to seeing stabby, stabbier, stabbiest. Okay, what does all of this mean for you? Your weapon rules are more simple, more streamlined. I don't think anyone's going to miss the huge range.
You and your opponent now talk the same language.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's best for comprehension of the game. I don't think this is going to change the balance. I think that this is just positive game interaction improvements, but don't dwell too much on the balance changes to it. They're all so minor. Let's go into the things that are going to be a bit more impressive when you're changing your armies. And if you've stuck it out this far into the video, full on kudos. Thank you very much for staying with us or skipping to this point in the timestamps. Right, Alien Hives. Hive Protector now gives regeneration. That's going to be a hero upgrade. Assault Grunts don't have fast. Adrenaline Fueled gives fast instead of agile, and that's because we've seen fast come away, but there's also a buff for some things. Soul Snatchers may either have fast or scout. Go back to earlier on in the video where we talk about this fast scout thing. Regeneration is only on Venom type units, and Resistance is now only on Synapse type units. The biggest change here I'm going to just say is Assault Grunts don't have fast. They were so instrumental, I think, to the power of Alien Hives, and seeing a bit of a tone down on AH is good.
Yeah, haven't you been bamboozled then? Because they used to have fast and they could upgrade with agile on top of that. So they have access to the adrenaline fuel thing. So they still have fast as an upgrade. So don't you worry, they're still fast Strider.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they just don't have fast base anymore.
The piercing things as well.
No, no, they don't know. But I mean, you're not taking them anyway. Who cares? So changes here. Hive Protector now gets regen. That used to give +1 defense. This is a much better buff for them to have.
Buff for the Hive Lord.
Straight buff. Is a buff for the Hive Lord, yeah, who actually lost his regen because of the changes at the bottom, and then sneakily got it back. He's a hero. He did lose access to resistance, but who gives a damn? But yeah, he now can't stack those on top of other things, so now the only upgrade he gets is ambush and flying. He no longer gets that trio of upgrades. Okay. Yeah, and the caster is now also one of his base things, which I think happened a while ago. But yeah, lots of changes in the world for the Hive Lord, who's the premium top 12. The fast thing, yeah, is a bit of a meme. The big thing to note here about these changes is now the Snatcher Lord fits really neatly inside Assault Grunts, whereas previously you paid for Scout for it, because now Scout is the swap Scout and fast. So now the Snatcher Lord is just like the thing to put in your Assault Grunts, because he gives them literally everything they need. It gives them a 2-up morale. They can be fast, and they can run around the map together, and they can get stuff like Rapid Charge Aura, and which you may remember from Chivalrous Kingdoms. You've now got 20-inch range charging Assault Grunts, which you had before because you could do it, but they'd be 22-inch range or whatever. But now that everything fits neatly together, and you don't spend extra points on it. So once again, Alien Hive's coming out with like an ultra premium, super, super great melee unit. So yeah, well done there. What are the other changes? The changes to regen and resistance are totally whatever. Soul Snatcher change is once again kind of whatever as well. I think it is obviously a slight nerf to the old Soul Snatchers, but I don't think you're going to see a massive change here. I think you'd probably always take Scout with them because they kind of are the Scout unit in the list.
Yeah, and Scout's only, because it's replacing fast, it's only a 5-point upgrade. 165 points, that's a good unit.
They're in that weird slot though where like 160 points doubled up is 320, which is quite expensive for something with no like real AP in it. So you then need to pay for the Scout really to then have that board presence, and now you can't charge their front line on the first turn. So it makes it less of like I just throw out my opponent round one kind of unit, which I think probably brings the Soul Snatchers into a really bad place, and you probably don't run them anymore. Because I don't think either of these upgrades are worth it when you compare it to the Soul Snatchers you get in Soul Snatchers Cults, who get the 9-inch movement, and then they can use either fast or Scout and be happy about it.
But I think that's fine, having the specialist, really good Soul Snatchers being in the Soul Snatcher army.
Oh, thank God, yeah, because before they were worse than them, right?
Exactly,
like,
yeah. So, overall good. Buff for the Assault Grunts, though, as you've mentioned, but there we go, that'll be life. Let's have a look at the Battle Brothers. There's quite a few things here. You've had a reshuffle of the auras, which is actually right there. Reshuffled access to hero auras. Commander now gives redeployment. Lieutenant gives rapid rush. What does this mean? The thing I've actually struggled with the most is that it means that the Dark Master Brother has access to 100 fucking auras. Like,
yeah, that's a lot in there actually.
The guideline that Tano wrote
is 5.
Is 5.
5.
So the Dark Pathfinder having 4 and the brothers, the Master Brothers having 9.
How does that happen? There's so many there.
Oh, also, is that another oversight that the Dark Master Brother has Fear 3?
Yeah, definitely write it down. But that's a dark specific thing, so maybe it's not. Because I don't think you can get any other ones right.
Oh, okay.
Does the blood chalice upgrade still exist? Or is that gone?
Blood Master Brother, Blood Priest, Piercing Assault Aura.
Blood chalice is gone as well. Yeah, that's a shame. Remember, it used to give +1 to hit and
regen. Yeah, it was said that you could put
it
that into.
Maybe that Fear 3 thing's intended because it's a Dark Brother specific thing.
It does look that way.
But write it down anyway.
Have a look at Watch Bros. They've got the Captain Brother who doesn't have it, but he's still got 9 effing auras. Okay, this isn't going to change the balance of Battle Brothers. You've still got access to Bane and shooting. Oh, not Bane and Bane and melee. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. Because then, if you want to do the funny thing, you give this guy the ambush upgrade. You stick him in a unit of destroyers and make them all have AP4, so that anything that your blood destroyers charges is dying, because it's a 1 in 36 chance to actually make the save.
A blood brother still the 6 is a
1 extra attack.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, not much change there in terms of the balance. Now, the thing that is the big change. Oh, go on.
No, keep going.
Also, we talked about the whole Fast and Scout thing.
Yeah.
Which, go and have a look at that. Assault Brothers have had a couple more weapons in there. I think these are all A1. This isn't massively impactful again, if I recall correctly. Unstoppable Shooting Mark is now just Unstoppable Mark, so it applies to both melee and ranged, which again is kind of fine. It's Dark Brothers. Dark Brothers are now a new and interesting army. That's blood. I've clicked on blood again. A new and interesting army for Grimdark Future, because they've got the Wood Elf and Shadow Stalkers special rule for -4 inch when being shot and -2 inch when being charged. Interestingly, I think this -4 inch to being shot is going to be something that's going to give Dark Battle Brother players a lot more game.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, we've said it a couple of times, but I think we do prefer the minusing your opponent's range thing to plussing your own range. And then they get to do both of them anyway. I think what is going to let them do is, if your opponent's formation is tighter, you can charge one side of it and your opponent can't snap back, which extra movement wasn't doing for them, right? Because your opponent's range was being reduced. Which is nice with their round 1 ambush, right? Because when you round 1 ambush, you want to pick apart something weak in their formation, right? Put a lot of pressure on their deployment. And oftentimes, if they deploy around that, then you then have to do something with your round 1 ambush where you go like, well, fuck it, I'll just whack it somewhere on the board, right? Like, I don't need to do the aggressive play because I've kind of got the value from it. But this means that there's more scope for your opponent to make mistakes. So yeah, good stuff.
I think it's good stuff. That's going to be really interesting. I look forward to playing with this when I get the opportunity, because it's an interesting rule. Some people, though, do find it very oppressive, so be warned about that. Blessed Sisters. Oh, my baby, the procession altar. It broke Battle previously, and that has been fixed. Fine. Blessed Sisters have got some really nice glow-ups here because of things like their general units just getting cheaper and aura changes. So they're in a great spot. Custodian Brothers, along with Tough being nerfed and regen aura buff on their units being nerfed, Envoy Banner, which used to give you teleport aura for your Custodian Brothers, now gives dash, which is D3 plus 1 inches when moving.
I don't think that's not what it is.
It is?
No, isn't it at the end of the round you move an extra bit?
That was ending dash. So they've also introduced now ending dash and starting dash. The ending dash was what they got before, but now it's this.
No, it says right there at the end. Once we're at the end of the unit's activation.
Oh my god, you're right. Wow, there's something I'd missed completely. Because I looked at it, I went 65 points for a D3 plus 1 movement to this. You're exactly right, Harvey.
Yeah, it's actually awful.
It's actually trash.
Yeah.
My god, custodians.
Yeah, it's like mobility only for capturing objectives is basically what it is. And like some positional stuff, right? Like, to be fair, like Dark Elves with harassing, right, can make good use of stuff like that. You kill a unit, you jump back far, right? It's a bit like that, but I ain't paying 65 points for that.
That's insane.
Especially because I'm rolling for it. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's awful.
That is hot garbage. That is hot garbage. Custodian Brothers have been quite heavily shafted with this one. My day will come. Dark Elf Raiders. Heroes don't have martial prowess anymore. Well done, Harvey. You broke the internet.
Yep.
A load of this agile thing, a load of zoomy vehicles in Grimdark Future that had fast upgrades are now agile upgrades. So rather than being +2, +4, it's now +1, +2. You'll also see this in Orc Marauders. And it's kind of fine. 20-inch movement is a huge amount, so reducing it to 18 inches is quite sensible. And then Pathfinder Beast Handler. So this is on your dogs. Now goes Vanguard instead of Scout. Scout's also getting more expensive, means that this it keeps them in line with being playable.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, this is one of those changes that's like, yeah, cool, sure. Like, Scout's very powerful. We don't have Scout anymore. Do prefer it to Vanguard. Probably still prefer Scout to Vanguard, but, you know, like, it's not the end of the world. This kind of opens up the option of taking the Unpredictable Fighter version, because I think before Scout was such an auto-take, so it's made the choice interesting there. But yeah, overall, just nerfs around the board here for Dark Elves. Interestingly enough, Hoverboard Riders now having Agile increases their move speed, which is probably a nerf, because Hoverboard Riders before they were just normal speed, so they were fast for a while for the longest time.
Okay, I hadn't realised.
Then they got around to normal, and now they've been given Agile to give them that mid ground between, like, we're not on foot, but we're not on bikes or whatever. But they're very, very expensive Hoverboard Riders for what they do. They should be like the ultimate in like skirmishing thing, and they do kind of fill that role, but yeah, they're not rocking the most aggressive profile.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Dark Elf Raiders are still a solid army though.
Yep.
Dwarf Guilds power suits now have infiltrate instead of ambush. Really important when you're on a slow unit to not have to deploy over 9 inches away from your target.
Yep, finally.
Bikers and support bikers may either have fast or scout. And again, we've talked about that. And the assault drill doesn't have fast anymore. Now, this is probably the most brutal, but it is an ambushing unit anyway and can go 12 inches. It just tones it down. This and the Rattling Clans drill used to be able to ambush transport units and charge 16 inches. So seeing that toned down, well, it really honestly, just makes it cheaper.
Well, exactly. I would say this is a buff if it weren't for the fact that base game, this can be a buff, right? Because once again, you ambush in 9 inches away from the you charge in, it doesn't matter. In tournaments and stuff where you have like a mix of progressive and base, you could still deploy these guys on the board, right? And because they had fast, they just operated like normal transports, right? Yeah. So in the game modes where you don't want to use ambush, you can use them like that. They're slightly worse at doing that now because you put them on the board and then you only move from 12. And most of the time, the things inside them have got melee. So it's like, well, that's only actually an 18-inch charge, which isn't quite as appealing as the 22 one you had.
Yeah. So a little bit of a buff for power suits, but then a nerf for Dwarf Guilds. Gangs of New Eden, we're not going to talk about that on this video. For those desperate for some skirmish content, let us know. We can.
Yeah, especially if anyone knows what biped rigs and heavy biped rigs are. We'll comment on them, but otherwise we don't know what half these things are anyway.
Exactly. Excellent stuff. Goblin Reclaimers, they have their Mega Walker. So this is the loyalty reward this month. Yeah. So it's a new Titanic unit. Cool.
But it's not a Titan, right? It's tough 12, right?
Ooh, is it tough 12? Oh,
it is, yeah. I
remember seeing some discussion about this.
So it's
tough 12.
It's a 12, yeah. In the same way that the other things they had. They used to be called Mega, didn't they? Super and Mega and stuff.
Yeah.
Very weird unit, though. Very weird unit. A whole heap of guns with some weird profiles. We've got some blast in there. We've got some indirect in there.
This is a weird gun. And
we've got deadly 6, on the thing.
9. Oh god, it doesn't even hit Balval.
No, it's quality 4. So yeah, very strange unit. It doesn't have stomp either, which most things do. It's just got great swords. I don't know if that's an oversight.
I'm gonna put that one down.
But yeah, once again, giving us a nice shiny brand new unit is all very well and good, but it's got literally no upgrades. Why are we doing this? Right, just put something interesting in that little box. Spend a little bit of time just doing that, because otherwise you end up with these units that's like, well, people click on it, you go like, oh right, there's Adam.
Always happy to see Adam.
Guy. Always happy to see Adam, but sad to see him, really, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, Scouts are fast in Vanguard or Agile in Scout. Interesting that they are fast in Vanguard and Agile in Scout. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Killer tanks and super tanks can now upgrade with Did you do this? Self-destruction payloads. You've
when I saw this, I was really excited because this was on our what if we did 3.5. It's not exactly what I think. Mine was sillier than this, right? But yeah, fun, right? I don't know if this is a Games Workshop thing that's been brought over or whatever, but I love it. I love it so much.
Exploding tanks, cool.
Yeah,
that is fun to see. It
just adds a bit more like goblin flavor to it, and see, like that should be added to the Mega Walker. You know,
the big blow up boom boom.
Yeah, give it like Retaliate or something like that. Like just something that's got a cool flavorful name. It can't even get the upgrade that gives +1 to hit in goblins either for the Mega Walker. That's a shame. But yeah, either way.
Piercing shooter mark now in place with unpredictable shooter mark. So the opportunity to get +1 to hit instead. Unpredictable shooter mark is very goblin-y. That's quite thematic, isn't it?
Yeah, and also it's on an army that's never going to hit. Like none of its things are such high quality, so +1 to hit is pretty good, right?
Yeah. So overall, probably a bit of a buff. New things, always fun to see. Most importantly, tanks blowing themselves up when they die.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
I will say with the piercing shooter mark being changed, so piercing shooter mark obviously is a lot more synergistic with mischievous army wide.
Yes, true.
So it's not like a flat buff. It's like a side grade ish.
Side grade ish. Very nice. Havoc Brothers. Interesting. We've only got 3 lines for all 5 factions here. Lustbound, we've spoken about. We know about that one. Mutated Brothers may now either have fast or ambush and flying. Ooh, that. Okay, Mutated Brothers are a really kind of fun unit. I think they're 4/4s as well.
They're 3/4s.
Are they 3/4s? Ooh, I never liked them. They're 3/4s A2 unpredictable fighter.
3/4s A2 AP1 unpredictable fighter, I think.
Okay,
yeah?
So they're
right?
a good unit. So this is, again, the dial back on the mobility thing. And a spoiler, Walker weapons were tweaked. I don't know about this one, but this is actually missing 2 big changes. Base Havoc Brothers, I think. Wait, hold on. Before I say something that is wrong, let's just double check. Base Havoc Brothers army-wide has not changed. Ooh, I think it was being flirted with. Never mind. So that's one thing Dave's wrong about.
Yeah.
But the other thing that is massive, that is covered earlier on in the patch notes, but isn't obviously mentioned here, loads of units have lost access to dangerous terrain debuff. Yeah. So that is something quite big.
The spoiler walkers are Titans, so...
Okay, which is why, again, I haven't looked at them a huge amount.
800-point unit, and I could not tell you what they've changed to.
This is because there's a new GW model out, I think.
Oh, is there? Okay. We got guns. We got lots of guns.
We got the DACA, we got the Smashy upgrade with just flat A6, eh? 14 attacks. No, 18 attacks. Can I break Val?
No, 24 on 18.
24, okay.
Yeah.
But it can become a 700-something point unit just running around smashing the crap out of everybody. Holy moly. And well designed as well, because it's a load of AP3 when you get AP +1 when charging. Nice to see it.
Yeah, also you can take it in the base game.
Also, you can take it in the base game. If you want to take
Def 2 region.
Tough 18.
Fair 3.
Absolutely
all the
monstrous.
good things. Yeah.
Where are those Mutated boys? Mutated Brothers, yeah. These guys are huge, and they come with fast, and you can upgrade it with ambush and flying. It's the mobility kind of dial back, but I think these are still a really solid unit to take, no matter where you're bringing it.
They're really scary, right? They've got Havoc bound for the extra AP, and then unpredictable fighter to go either to a 2-up or to a 3-up AP. Yeah, they're juicy boys.
And with fast as well, you can make Havoc bound work a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, and ambush as well, right? Ambush guarantees it.
Ambush guarantees it. Havoc Brothers are looking very good. High Elf fleets have just... Retributors now have Fearless. None of their heroes can take a Fearless upgrade, I think. That's going to still be the case. So that's just a nerf. Flat nerf. Why are we brutalising an already... Oh, hold on. No, it's not said it here, but here we go. So the Elven Noble has now got a Fearless Leader upgrade, right?
Which means you can go with this boys. Which
is actually a buff to the Elementals, who can now be led by a hero without losing the benefits of Fearless. Yeah, now that is the real benefit here. Shredded melee aura, or hit and run shooter aura for the shooty guys, or just highborn boost aura, turning them all into loads more speed. Okay, High Elf fleets, the elementals have got a friend who can lead them now. Congratulations, folks. That is now actually a bit more exciting.
Yeah. And obviously we're putting that in the elemental protectors.
Yeah, probably.
For their Wraith Cannons, A3, AP4. God damn. High bound boost aura. We're going 10 inches and shooting 12.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
It's still only A3, AP4, right?
So I want you in my room. A3, AP4, man. Come on. Just blaster. Relentless. We're doing things.
Oh, they are relentless as well. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, just run it with the distortion guns. Right?
Yeah, you can do it. I mean,
Proc 6s every day.
But move 10 inches means you can always be out of range for the relentless. It's huge tech.
That is some fun. And what can
I mean,
and then
you already can be, but yeah.
Oh, this guy, he's got relentless upgrades built into his guns as well, which is quite fun. So you can add in, I mean, it's very expensive, but you can make him highborn boost aura, give him his own relentless with A3 one unstoppable or a deadly thing.
I mean, give him a master spinner, bro. A3, AP4 again. More AP4.
Split fire with a very zoomy shooty unit.
That's true, yeah.
That's quite expensive, but it's good.
It's nice. It's nice to see the flexibility. We always argue in the favour of flexibility, don't we?
Absolutely.
To be fair, he can't go with the strikers because he has got shielded base. Actually, I take it back. He's got shielded base. He just can't pick up any weapons that way because he has to immediately replace them to get anything good. Probably CCWs, but yeah, cool.
Buff to high elves. Nice to see. Human defense force. Tank company leaders now tough 15. This is a nerf to it. It's reduced the accessibility, but I think it's necessary. It's now a general instead of a munitioner. I think this is the...
General is coordinate, munitioner is precision shooter, which is a huge nerf to it, right? Because that was the most appealing thing about it. Yeah. The most appealing thing about it was that you could just buff it. It's to hit by 1 for 35 points. Yeah. Getting access to reactivate on such a big thing could be interesting. You got like a double tank list, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
To activate a tank and to activate a tank, that's kind of interesting. Gives like an interesting like bursty playstyle.
That's quite bursty.
You
already had access to that, right? Because you can put like your company leaders into a unit of veterans, blast a load of things, and then go from there.
Yeah, but this way you can do it from the tank.
But now you can do it from the tank.
Yeah. Which is, sure. Like, I mean, double activating is strong, right? You know, like we've just seen a Dark Elf nerf over the back of one unit gets to double activate, and sure, this isn't quite the same because it's not the same unit activating again. But yeah, I mean, you could probably find some degenerate way of going like activate, blow up most of your opponent's stuff before they get to play. But I'm yet to see it really.
Okay. Well, we'll see how things progress with that. I agree, it's very expensive because you could be trying to activate 1,000 points in a single go.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. Veteran style units are limited to 1 upgrade per unit. So this was your scout and armoured and stealth. Sad to see the nerf there. It was done for simplicity's sake. But
rule stacking, right? I think Thanos putting rule stacking as something he wants to cut down on.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, we always come back to this on the channel, right? We always say that was something unique about them, and now it's been removed, and that feels very sad, right? Like they had this cool mix and match thing where they could pick different stuff, and now they can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now some of the upgrades are useless, right? Like you get to choose between armor for 5 points, scout for 15, stealth for 15, or demo charges for 15. Who is picking demo charges? Ever, right? Ever, right? And then between scout and stealth, you probably always pick scout, right? Because these guys have got shotguns. I mean, they've got rifles base, but come on. And then armor +4 is like, well, like if they're in a transport, I guess, is the only reason I'd ever use that. So yeah, you kind of very quickly made it into like this, cool mix and match. Oh, do I want to take stealth as well as my thing? So I want to double down on their armor, to just well, scout's better than the rest of them.
Yeah, really is, which is a shame to see. The next thing is armored trucks can replace their sponsons for more transport, which is funny. You replace transport with less transport. Okay, yeah. So it's replaced sponsons, but because of costs, it's flipped. So this is actually quite interesting. You can max your damage valve for a smaller cargo space, which is good when trying to pack up units of sappers.
Well, more importantly, this means you can now put ogre robots in here and give them stealth, give them scout, right? So the Rico vehicle has scout. It's got fast. It really gives beans, and now you can put things bigger units in there.
Wait, what? You could already put ogre robots in here.
No, because it didn't have transport 11 for it. It had transport 6.
Oh, it's in previous. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now,
because it used to be it had those guns and transport 6, and now it has transport 11. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do as well, obviously, which is cool, which I think someone on the Discord's already done, is put 10 combat bikers inside an armored truck, just for like the visuals, because they now fit all 10 in there. Just come riding out the back of it on your bikes.
Nice. Just Jenga stacking the actual bikes in the middle of the truck as well. That's quite funny. Okay, cool. So we've got an extra APC with a bit more versatility in the HDF, which is nice to see.
Yep.
And attack vehicles now take more guns. The attack vehicle is the the Tough 9 thing. So more DACA.
Which one's it again?
Similar.
I thought I read there were Gatling there.
Gatling guns, battle cannons, and laser cannons.
Of which I don't see Gatling guns in there.
Write it down.
unless there's a word here that's been misplaced, but maybe the heavy machine gun, but I'm pretty sure I had that before.
Okay. Either way, generally it's a nerf to HDF. HDF are already very good. The armoured trucks being more versatile is fun.
Yeah, but when the tank leader came out, everyone went like, that's silly. So there's prices to get hit.
Human Inquisition. We've talked about the nerf to the army-wide rule. Bearer of the Core now only places 1 token, so this is the... Is this the tag?
I presume it's a tag. I've literally never seen Bearer of the Core, so I have no idea where you even find it.
Oh. This is...
Any ideas? Bearer of the Chain. Oh, keep going. Hey.
Bearer of the Core piercing tag, yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, that's the same nerf that we've seen everywhere else in the world. And Surveillance Ministry Assassin. Oh, there's a new rule, takedown shot, which is that when shooting once per game, you can do a takedown attack, which once per game lets you do 6 points of deadly takedown on a 300-point unit.
Yeah. I mean, so we played a game with these hero guys. They're really, really fun to play with. They're super, super swingy, right? Like, if you're feeling like you're going to roll hot, then, 2-up is going to... Like, 2-up with evasive, right. That thing could never die. But... And this is way better than Fortified, right? Way more fun than Fortified because it makes you feel more like a sniper, so good change. But, it's still a bit weird, the whole assassin thing.
The army's still too expensive, I think. So... it's not really much for the Human Inquisition. Infected colonies, the rabid dogs are now either fast or scout. We've spoken about that elsewhere. Jackals, hounds are fast or scout, and hunters mark only places 1 token. RIP Jackals, they're just taking L's here, really.
So many L's, for no reason. Leave them alone, Tano.
Machine cults. Now, I actually want to understand where we are on where machine cults have ended out, because they went through a few things, and then they were bugged. They haven't taken the nerf that I thought they were going to do. So let's see what we've got. We've got a new unit, a change to cyborg priests, vehicles now being Q4 plus when some maybe were Q3 before.
They were all Q3, and it was the best part about the army.
Rip them. But do they have access to versatile attack? They do. And that'll be why, I think. Destroyer cyborgs don't have slow and relentless anymore.
The vehicles never had access to... versatile attack, like the Iron Walkers and stuff like that is what I'm talking about. Like all the tough 6 stuff was always quality 3. It was really, really good.
Yeah, you loved this Iron Walker, didn't you?
Yeah, really, really good unit, and now it's been completely giga shafted.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. indeed.
But Destroyer cyborgs aren't slow. Right?
Yeah, that's good, I guess.
And then they're now on a piercing debuff. And Raider Cavalry getting this fast or scout thing. They're still fine, I think. A new unit, who doesn't love new toys to play with? They're not massively thrilling. 4 3s. And you can, they're still quite hybrid-y, so they're meant to be shooting, but you can give them a melee upgrade. I have no idea. I don't know the range that this army is meant to reflect.
No.
And
the high cyborg priest as well. I think that used to be quality 3. Is that?
Yeah, it was a 3/3.
Yeah. Was it 3/3? Yeah. So now it's now it's got 3 extra tough, but it's lost 3. It's gone from 3/3 to 4/4. I mean, you know how we feel about tough 6. It's a weird spot. The nice thing about this guy is he is A6 AP4, so at least he actually punches, and with versatile attack he wastes half it now, so that's good. No, you pick right with versatile.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Tough 6 is weird.
This is interesting. We've got tanks with versatile attack, right?
Yeah. One thing, it has limited their access to Caster 3 somewhat, because Caster 3 is only on the high cyborg priest, and that's now much more expensive.
Yeah.
And they continue to have this really expensive spell list. No, sorry.
Gotten cheaper.
It's more expensive because the high cyborg priest has gone from a tough 3 to a tough 6.
Right, okay.
So he like the base unit is more expensive, and that's the only way they access Caster 3. But yeah, I think Caster 3 for them has actually come down by 5 points. Anyway, it's always been like 80 points, and it's like always been like, well, now they have 6 AP2, but previously they had like one of the worst spell lists in the game. And I remember Adam once made a list for me to play in a tournament, and we'd literally just been speaking about this on the channel about what you should and shouldn't do with it, and then Adam builds me a list that break all the rules. And he was like, I swear I was trying.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Okay, machine cults, kind of fine. I think this is probably a nerf.
Yeah.
But the diehard robot human lovers are still going to play them. Orc Marauders. So, because of cost changes, Orc Marauders are looking cracking. Rending in melee is now a rending mark. I don't know how often I'm taking that anyway, but it's nice to have a bit of versatility for finding the regen unit and making it feel crap on the opponent's side. We've talked about agile instead of speed boost, and killer rocket pods. These are the 18-inch guns, and now I think 12 inches, which just makes them cheaper, and we're okay with that, really. Killer rocket pods, where are you? Killer rocket pods are now A1 Deadly 3 Tear. There we go.
Yep. Yeah, which is one of those things where it's like Tear's now back in this, like on that gun, it's in a weird spot because you're shooting a Deadly 3 at tough 3 things.
Tough 9, 12.
Right.
Yeah, that is weird.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. It didn't really make a difference. But they used to have rapid rocket launchers, I think, yeah. So this must be one of their like reimagining things where it's like you now get both, right? You get like the rocket pods and the special version, or the other way around. Sorry. But yeah, good changes, I guess, right?
Yeah, orcs are looking good. I don't know how much it's because of these changes specifically, but they're all right.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice change because it makes the trucks a bit cheaper, right? Because now they don't have to take an 18-inch gun.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Prime Brothers, very similar to our Battle Brothers analysis. Scroll back to that. And I don't think we need to say much more other than noting they've all lost access to reinforcement. There's one person who I spoke to quite recently was saying they didn't like this because they're getting less and less elite and less resilient. But in my view, -1 AP on a Def 3 up army already is a bit meh. You're already failing a third of your rolls. So paying for that to sometimes just be worth nothing, I think is a bit unfortunate for them. So I'm glad to see that go, and I think it's a buff for the Prime Brothers.
Yeah.
Ratman clans, bearing in mind they've got their own range coming out soon, I think we can expect to see a few other changes happening as that rolls out. What do we get? We've got the rat swarms are now Vanguard instead of Scout. We've spoken about that. Cult leaders can now upgrade with Spice Assassin Snipers. I think that's just saying that they get deadly, but I can't remember if that gives something else. But the big one is Burrower tanks are tough 9 and lose fast. Notwithstanding that the Burrower tank has got a Burrower wheel that is this big for a tank that is this big, that tough 9 change is quite interesting, really. Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's probably good.
Yeah, losing fast and turn tough 9. It makes it more. There's more liability. Like it's riskier, right? you know,
Yeah.
like because it's got less tough and the things you put in it might die before they get to come out, which is fine, I guess. I think whatever basically is the summary of it.
Yeah, I think it is, but like
It'll
it's
be a
still
bit that,
tough 9.
Yeah, and they still have scurry, right? Like the fact that they lost fast is not that. Like,
It doesn't matter here. Whereas
still
with
14.
dwarves,
Yeah,
it's a bit more impactful.
and on the little digging wheel thing that they've got on the model for it, I think the problem with burrowing tanks, right, is you either do something like that, and it doesn't make any sense, or you go the space engineers route, and you just have like a whole grid of drills on the front
Hell
of this thing, which I'm all for, to be honest. But yeah, it's always a bit difficult, right? Because even the dwarf one is like, it's got like a big drill on the front of it, but I don't think it fits, does it?
I have no idea. I can't remember. What I will say is, I think that thing on the front is the melee weapon, the A8 AP4 thing. It's been taken off of its base, and now it's an upgrade.
Maybe a burrower is is not meant for burrowing. Like the tank inside is meant for just like
digger?
Yeah, just a little bit of burrowing. You know, like it burrows on the weekends.
Ratman clans, though, they're a great army, and I look forward to seeing them played a lot more in OPR with the OPR official minis that look sick.
Yeah.
Rebel Guerrillas, Resistance Spirit now. Whatever. I'm just gonna. Can we not talk about Rebel Guerrillas?
It's wild that they've been nerfed. It's wild. It's wild. +1 is no good. Or is that real 6s? I can remember. The shield is +1, isn't it?
Yeah, +1 to defense rolls.
Yeah. +1 to defense roll. Like whatever, right? Like what a like. Why is that going on, Rebel Guerrillas? Are we now like what are we supposed to be, like a tanky thing? I don't know. Whatever.
This isn't a Rebel Guerrillas review, but we'll move past that. They're still
sad. It's just a weird change. And then yes, the Spartan Beacon is a nerf as well. So lol.
Yeah. Robot Legions can now take shock whips. This is a really cute little buff for that 4/4 Robot Snakes unit, because shock whips are A4 AP1 surge, which is fine. More options are good. Robot Legions overall, though, have been hit very hard because they have a lot of Strider and a lot of Tough, and that's just they are more expensive. Saurian Starhost, their Dactyls have lost fast.
Cool.
I've seen people saying that's fine. This is in line with the balance approach anyway. They have heavy impact on one of those Dactyls, so they are already pretty good.
Weird they didn't get Agile, but yeah.
Weird they didn't get Agile, but fine. Soul Snatcher cults. We've talked about the Soul Snatchers fast scout thing and Mutant Soul Snatchers having bounding or ambush. Soul Snatchers cults are looking good, I think. Especially Mutant Soul Snatchers not having to have ambush. I think that they're in a pretty good spot for anyone who wants to try them out.
In a game where everything's taking a mobility hit, the armies with a mobility army-wide are going to feel better because they have a mobility hit.
Yes, that's a really good point.
So, yeah, it's good vibes for the Soul Snatchers. And they have mind control as well, so they'll never be bad in my eyes.
Love some Soul Snatchers. I need to give them a lot of testing soon. Titan Lords. Really interestingly, Titan Lords, we've now got 5 Titan Lord factions. So this is probably a nerf to them, because it means that you can't have mix and match Havoc God buffs and blessings. On top of that, the Micro Titans, the Tough 9 ones, have been degraded from having Caster 2 to Caster 1 as their upgrade. But the Titans have been changed, so the Caster's been shuffled around, and Paladin Light Titan, a new Tough 18, which is weird when it's a Light Titan to have a Tough 18, but it's a new unit. What does this mean? I think it's a nerf overall to Titan Lords. You've lost modular upgrades, and the Caster thing being changed as well.
One thing I will say is Honor Code used to be their army-wide, and now that gets replaced by the Demon rules.
Does it? I hadn't clocked that.
If you want, you can be brain dead and take the base Titan Lords, who still have access to Honor Code, which is a waste of time. I think losing access to Caster 2 is quite big for them, right? Like, I think the full Caster list was very successful. We've had a couple of people come back into our community and be like, hey, I ran your list and it was great. Yeah. I think losing Caster down to Caster 1 sucks there, because their Caster 1 list is not as good as their Caster 2. Like, Caster 2 is 6 hits of crack, which is quite nice, and yeah, I don't know. Is that new even? I don't know.
This is because we're looking at War Disciples.
Yeah, okay. So what was that base on before? I think it was like 6 hits, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was 6 hits. Yeah, so it was an extra gun.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just a nice extra gun, like in that way. But now they have this new list, and I mean, maybe it'll be fine. Maybe you'll find some level 1/1 stuff. Like, I mean, obviously the war ones now get the fatigue thing on morale, which is obviously very good.
Fatigue on morale, and plague gets difficult terrain debuff.
So actually, maybe it changes the role slightly to more like utility stuff, but still, it's definitely a nerf. You'd rather have caster 2 and still do that stuff. But yeah, I think it's not necessarily awful.
No.
It's not the end of the road for the old Titan Lords.
I think the dropping of steadfast honor code on the Havoc aligned Titans is very interesting. And I think my biggest complaint is this caster change, because otherwise Plague Titan Lords could have been something so good.
Yeah,
they probably still could be fine.
Yeah. I think obviously the mobility changes have kind of cost Titan Lords slightly. They used to be very, very mobile army. And now you're paying quite a lot for those upgrades. Like 55 points there for Scout Strider, 70 points for Fast and Strider on the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think those used to be individual upgrades. I think you'd be able to... I think you could pick Scout and Strider, couldn't you? Or they always combine together? I don't know.
I can't remember now.
No, I mean, either. But either way, yeah, I think overall they're fine, right? Like, the new spell lists are probably a good thing for them. It's a shame they don't get as much access to it anymore, but maybe you just pull back on the number of casters you are running. Maybe you don't. Maybe you feel hard slam casters because they're just good, right? And then use the caster 1s to feed the caster 2s, but...
It's pretty tricky to figure out. Thrust, is this cost more expensive as well? And you need to... upgrade with 1. What are you replacing? A heavy hammer? Okay, this is a bit confused, and I think it's going to take more than me just clicking through it randomly now.
Yeah. I think you're on the wrong unit. That's why. But yeah.
There we go. If you break Balval, you can get 7 activations in.
Oh yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's some analysis to be done on that. I think, as you say, Harvey, though, Titan Lords are fine.
Yeah.
That's just cool flavour to see, I think, more than anything. And the Wormhole Demons. So what do we talk about here? Warhounds are fast or scouts. I think that's a little bit of a buff for them because they're very expensive. Lustbound, we've talked about and touched on. Demonic Incursion, that's the ambush aura, is now part of the mount category. They had loads of access to a load of different things before, so I think that is fine. And Change Screeches, Vanguard Scout. There's not too much to discuss there. Change still very good. War still very good. Lust is still also very good. Plague is still fine. Like, demons are mostly unchanged, I think, in the current landscape.
Yeah, and that nerf to the ambush aura being part of the mount section is literally just hitting units that took mounts. Because everything else you can just fit in neatly, I think. Did the Fury champions used to get it? I don't know. I guess one change that is kind of relevant is that you, like the Harbinger, can only get flying and ambush. So you used to be able to take that to put into Fury units if you wanted to go that route. I mean, I don't know how often you're actually doing that, but yeah. Overall, I don't think this makes a huge difference because, like the units that you were upgrading with mounts, you were therefore probably not putting them in units. So,
right, let's move on to Age of Fantasy. Now, it's worth saying we've covered so much now for Grimdark Future and the general game. This is going to be rapid. So let's razz through it, shall we? Okay. Beastmen. We've talked about the Fast and Scout thing. Coordinated Hunt, which is piercing tag, I think, for these guys. 1 token. We've spoken about that. It's dialed back. It's fine. Shiv Kingdoms, big nerf, but also bigly needed. Vanguard Master now gives Rapid Rush. That was something I hadn't clocked before. But
so they've lost Scout, right?
They've lost Scout.
And now Rapid Rush is just trash. So, double nerf to these guys and their mobility.
Now, this is actually what I think is quite an interesting buff with the growth things going on for peasants. They're now 5/6s, so they're less expensive. But I think that's a good thing. If you consider that your peasant longbowmen are going to end up the game being 3/6s when shooting.
And 4/6s into round 2, right, with 30-inch range. Yeah, I mean, peasant enjoyers rejoice, basically.
Peasant enjoyers rejoice.
It's become quite a bit more aggressive, yeah. I think the longbows especially. I mean, they're still only A1, which isn't amazing, right? But, it's kind of fun, right?
One of the things I'm curious just to have a quick peek at is how does this work? If a unit where all models have this rule is shaken at the beginning of the round, roll a down, 4+, it stops being shaken. How does that work with growth? Place one marker at the beginning of each round if it's on the table and isn't shaken. I presume you roll Veil Oath and get it both.
I think it's like always roll in the most favourable way, I think.
Yeah. Just interesting to comment on. I think peasant enjoyers enjoy.
Yeah.
Errant Knights have Vanguard instead of Scout. They were already massively powerful. I think that's just made them a bit cheaper, really, in the landscape, so that's good for them. And Impact Mark replaced with Surge Mark. Is it peasant time?
Well, yeah, I mean, losing Impact Mark is kind of sad, right? Because that would probably be a peasant strategy. But I will say Impact Mark was on some like Pegasus Knights and stuff, and I presume it's now on the Grail Relic instead. Because once again, take it away from the units you want to put it on the tough sixes. But the Grail Relic was actually something that was pretty decent before. Because it already has Furious buff.
Kind of exciting, yeah.
It's got crazy number buffs now, right? It's got Furious and Courage, and then Precision Growth in itself and Surge.
For 120 points, 110 points for this thing.
Yeah.
Peasants rise up. This, I'm way more excited about Shift Kingdoms. Like, they were already hella strong, right? They're now actually a varied and interesting army, because you've got these peasants who are getting better as the game goes on, who have got a little bit more access to lasting out the game, because, bring fucking 20 peasants and 20 men-at-arms. Oh no, screw the men-at-arms. They don't have growth. But 20 peasant levies is going to be hilarious.
Levies. Bring the lesbians. We want the peasant lesbians. The peasant lesbians. Oh my god, only 95 points for 10 lesbians. That's such a good price. God, lesbians are normally such elite tier. It's actually a bargain. Not only do you get 95 lesbians, but you get steadfast lesbians as well. You don't want to fuck with them.
We're going to get cancelled for that. I think Shift Kingdoms actually look like a good engaged army now. Rather than just zug charge forward. Surge Mark as well. It is for weapons only, so we're not cheesing it with impact. Like, the peasant army is looking good.
Yep.
Cool.
In an AOF context, yeah, for sure.
In an AOF context.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that is needed. That's good for the game. It's good for Shift Kingdoms. They're no longer this insane broken charge you wherever you are on the board army. That makes them actually really interesting. So I'm glad to see that. Dark Elves, nerf and probably nerf. Retreating Strike is just 1 die per model. That means that the Hydra is worse. It means that the dude on Dragon, your champions on Dragons are worse.
Okay, but worth noting, it didn't need to be worse, right? Tano chose to nerf it, right? Because the way that first of all, the wording is really, really dumb. So Retreating Strike now has brackets in it, right? And the brackets tell you how many wounds you do if you roll a 6, right? It's not the number of dice you roll to see if you get a 6. So you roll 1 dice, and on a 6, it does 3 wounds.
Once per round. In fact, it ends. No, it's roll X dice to get, and on a 6 they take a wound.
He swapped it around then, because if you read the thingy text, in fact, the text just hasn't been updated. You can write that one down.
Okay. Retreating Strike patch.
Because it says once per round with this, pick one of them and roll X dice for each model with this rule in the unit. Either way, it was going to be you roll a dice and it does 3 wounds. Yeah. I remember, because I commented on that. I don't know if this wording means the opposite or not.
You roll 1 dice per X and deal 1 wound per 6 rolled.
Pick one of them and roll X dice for each model. So yeah, I guess. So it has been switched around. So maybe it's the wording I wanted anyway. That's good. But yeah, it didn't. It didn't need. It could have been Retreating Strike 12, and then Hydras would have kept their Retreating Strikes at the normal level. But for some reason, it's also been reduced to 3 for Hydras.
Rip.
Which I think is a bit lame, because I don't know. I think it's a cool rule before, and now it's a bit like it's a bit limp. Especially because it's not really been changed for the base units either. So it's just a random nerf to the Hydra. Either way, whatever.
Black Guardians have it. Yeah. All models with that.
Loads of stuff has it though, right? Like the Corsairs have it. I think the Witches have it. The Slaughter Sisters have it, right? Like it's their
Everyone friggin' has it. Holy cow!
Yeah, it's their thing. And then as for the rapid charge thing versus impact, I mean, impact mark's obviously very, very good, and rapid charge is still interesting. But as always,
Buckling menace.
Yeah, I mean it was called that before for the thingy one, but it's
okay.
It's now on the chariots, which once again are not the tough sixes you want to take. So, yeah, I mean, yes, it's been changed to something else, but are you really taking the scourge or rapid chariots? Probably not.
Yeah. Overall enough because of the retreating strike. Eternal Wardens. Oh my god, it's taken us this long in the recording for me to get excited about it. I have been screaming for this for the longest time. A load of the units are now Qual 3 Defense 4. The elite army are feeling elite. They are better than a 4-4. Hallelujah.
Yep.
Just fantastic to see all of these units in the back here. Warden Shooters, Hunters, Marksmen, Griff Hunters, and Drake Lion Paladins, and Paladins themselves. I am now really interested on building lists with them. This is so fantastic. Now, is it good for them? Is it going to make them... I think it's going to make them stronger, but that's just because it's making them more interesting to me, and Qual 3, of course, is very good. Overall, the main thing is this is so exciting to see a bit of change. We're moving away from the stat blocks, which is so commonly seen of quality as equal to defense, with breaking it up a little bit. I'm so pleased to see this Eternal Wardens change. Now we just need to get rid of the stupid -1 AP rule, and we're off to the races with them. So fantastic stuff. Drake and Dragon mounts now have tough 6. This means that you can get easy access to some tough 12 heroes, which again, fantastic. Really pleased to see. Hunting Hawks don't have fast, and the rest of this is now the mobility thing. Interestingly, the unstoppable shooting mark is now just an unstoppable mark. That is a buff for them because their shooting previously sucked, but then again, could be better now with this Qual 3 going on. What does this overall mean? Eternal Wardens are looking really exciting. They're probably a pip or two stronger, especially in the fantasy context. Big win! Yay! Happy Dave.
And also, just Lacerate is an extremely powerful rule to get in Age of Fantasy, right? A lot of that stuff is basically like you look at like Warden Shooters, which are a very expensive unit for Age of Fantasy, but they're 270 points for Quality 3 now, 3 shots, AP2 Blast 3 Lacerate, right? AP2 Lacerate 1 Blast 3 is basically guaranteed killing 6 models in a unit there, right? If you're shoot it, sometimes you'll hit 3, then you kill 9 models. So this kind of stuff is also a lot more powerful because of that Lacerate.
I admit, when I was actually building with Warden Shooters, I was just taking the volley crossbow for A4 AP1 vending.
Yeah, loads of good options.
Points. Brilliant.
But what I mean is switching out their old crap rule for Lacerate with Blast has made them very, very good in an Age of Fantasy world.
Yeah, really has. So just phenomenal glow ups here for Wardens. They still take, the nerfs through tough and deadly getting cheaper and so on. So they're not catapulted into the 10% category by any means, but they are just a few pips higher, and I'm very pleased to see it.
I think that's like you just take as many Wardens as you can, right? Because Wardens now are 190 points for 4 attacks, AP1, Quality 3, Furious, Fearless, right? That's just a stat line you want to see in Age of Fantasy. Yeah. And if you want to, you can spend 25 points for Musician.
Yeah, that's particularly brutal. But 5 points for the Sergeant is massive. That's a really cheap upgrade. To get double exposure.
It must be the A2 AP1 base thing that causes that.
It is, 100%.
But I don't understand why Musician is 25 points there. I don't really get that, but whatever.
C'est la vie. Ghost of the Undead, Dread Knights, Faster Ambush. We don't need to talk about that much. This doesn't actually address the feats being halved because that's in the General Army's upgrade, which is, I think, a benefit for Ghost of the Undead, those feats going down to just +1.
No, I think that's worse for them. They're a very fragile army. They quite like bursty stuff. Dread Knight's getting Faster Ambush is a bit weird. Now you've got men on horses who are walking at a normal pace. That's the biggest strange thing I think about all of these changes overall. Yeah. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Giant Tribes are getting the same as the Havoc treatment.
Now, how do we feel about that on a Qual 4 army? I'll wait and see. Streamlining them. How many can you guess at 1,500 now? That's what I've not gone to check.
I don't know. I don't know how much Steadfast cost.
Let's have a quick comparison.
What's the base giant tribes guy cost? Like, was he
150 points with Steadfast.
So that's the same as the war one.
It's the same as the war one.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's just a flat buff there, really, isn't it?
I think it's
Plague
just
one
a
is
flat
also
buff.
150. Because you just don't want to see Steadfast, do you? So,
I mean, excited to see hopefully some giants at 150 points.
yeah,
That'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
3 of these are 450 points. Can we see giants at 750 points? What's happening here? Oh, it's max 2 copies. Still quite funny.
Yeah, you can't.
RIP. But cute. Nice to see giants getting some change, and I think that's probably a benefit for them because you'll get more of them. So we might see more giants at 1,500 points here, which is a good thing to see. More versatility, more dynamism in the game.
Yep.
Goblins, piercing assault mark changed, piercing fighting mark. Sure, whatever, just flat AP1 when fighting.
That is a buff, just because you don't really have mobility in a lot of goblin armies. And yeah, I guess spear blocks as well. But yeah, like you tend to have a bunch of like 12-inch moving stuff and trolls and stuff like that, which is where you find the piercing assault mark, which probably don't find them there anymore, actually. I was going to say, yeah, that's a good buff to trolls, but where the fuck do you find it? On the chariots?
Giant cave beast, giant spider, troll giant.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a weird place for them all to end up because it feels like a very advantageous place for it to end up. That giant cave piece looking very nice now. All this stuff looks nice. But yeah, definitely good because yeah, it means your opponent can't get around it anymore.
Goblins are just a good army.
Yeah.
So they're looking good. Guilds we're not commenting on. Halflings, Townfolk have Qual 5 Def 6.
Spoken about this already, right?
Spoken about this already.
Qual 5 thing, yeah.
Havoc Dwarves, Cultists don't have slow anymore. That is probably quite a nice little glow up for them, to be honest. And Cultist get command groups.
I think it's a nerf, just because they had Scout. They have Scout, so...
Oh, do they have Scout? Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit pointless. Yeah, again, the extra move speed, it's basically a nerf in that regard. They do now get access to Banner, which is, I guess, okay, and they're now quality 5, so they can do a bit more with it. But before they were Bear in mind that Cultists, 10 of them, right, they were 6/6s with Scout. They cost 40 points, and now they're 110.
Oh, wow, okay.
60 points, 40, I think it was 40 points, right? So what used to be your like meat shield, no problem, throw the wounds at the board, is now extremely way more expensive. So yeah, I think like they're more expensive than warriors, right? Like
that's the scout thing there, right? And having a ranged weapon.
Scout and losing slow, yeah, loads of stuff.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so this is a huge nerf because basically this is how dwarves got on the board before. They would just like throw a bunch of cultists forwards, and then they'd have their other stuff moving up after them. And now they can't really afford to just throw loads of cultists up the board because they're very expensive now for the role that they're supposed to be serving. So I think a nerf.
Yeah,
unfortunately for the boys who didn't need it, poor little Havoc boys.
The Bull Construct though, tough 9. Nice to see some more tough 9 in the game. And
Yeah,
it's got Relentless Mark with loads of shooting flamers.
Yeah, as pointed out by someone, the AP4 thing still doesn't work, right? Because it's got Havoc bound.
Oh, yeah.
I think it when it was first upgraded, it had a 9-inch flamethrower, and that's now been changed to 12-inch, so you can actually use Havoc bound, which is good. But yeah, like I mean, 9 hits of a flamethrower is really good. It's very expensive, like, but yeah, it's doing bits now.
That's good for it. Havoc Warriors, I think this is the exact same commentary that we've had before, but Barbarian Horsemen can now take command groups, so they can go even faster. I don't think there's too much to say there. Nope. High Elves, Reaver Cavalry are again being changed slightly on the mobility, faster impact or bounding plus Vanguard. That is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it would be trash because you basically always want the impact, right? Oh, no, Reaver Cavalry, the range nonsense ones, yeah. Yeah, I mean, very strange. You basically always pick Bounding and Vanguard here. Why would you ever want to upgrade with Impact 1 on a thing you're paying for Boson?
Yeah, and you can't get rid of them.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. They're just like, they're very flimsy and expensive skirmishing shooter units.
Yeah, they're just bad.
With unreliable AP. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's interesting to see some change, but there we go. Light Beacon
that's their piercing mark.
That's piercing mark, which is here. But that's in line with everything else. High Elves are still not fantastic.
Yep.
Human Empire are looking really good. They've got a new Hunting Hounds unit, and the Griffin Mount they got a dog, and the Griffin Mount is tough +9 rather than tough +12, which means the heroes are lovely at tough 12 with the Griffin Mount, and Hunting Hounds are good board controllers.
Instead of tough +6, I see.
Oh, is it instead of tough +6?
Yeah, Griffins used to be smaller, right? They're not. They're now at tough 12, which is nice. Yeah, because they now get a tough 12 Lord instead of a tough 15 one. I mean, it's still quality 4, which I think is a shame.
You got precision fighting, Mark.
Yeah, you do. And then Hunting Hounds, optional scout, but yeah, they're just A1, AP1 surge, which it actually looks very much like a 3.6 unit.
Yeah, it does.
All right,
this looks really good.
I mean, it's only A1.
It is only A1, but A1 Surge, Agile Strider, Scout upgrade. I'd take them.
It'll be great in 6 months' time when everyone else does that.
If you want to look at rules abuse, right? Battle Master with a Furious buff for 5 points. Oh, it's a Furious buff as well.
Yeah.
Pick a friendly unit so it picks itself to get Furious before charging with a whole load of attacks on a Dragon or a Griffin.
Yeah.
So, good things for Human Empires. Kingdom of Angels, the boost is now takes your resistance to spells from a 4+ to a 2+. So conditional, I'm rarely taking it. But we've spoken about the Angels getting a bit more interesting. So overall, a buff, but they're still not changing too much. MU, what have we got here? We've got the change to the army wide that we've discussed. The Skeleton Horsemen have got the Scout Vanguard changes. The Snakemen, Snake Riders, and Giant Snakes are either fast or ambush, so you can remove the involuntary ambush. Now that is interesting.
I think wasn't ambush an upgrade on them?
Or was it an upgrade?
I think it was an upgrade.
It was locked. I thought it was locked. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was an upgrade for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
wasn't that? Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. Yes, I recall. It was still.
There was 2 upgrades, right, for the hero to get ambush or not ambush, right, or armor and ambush. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So not too much change here. A bit of a nerf to Royal Legion. They're still going to be pretty good because of their bonus charge range and their high mobility. It's actually a nerf to them, but that stacks with a tough thing as well. The Skeleton Giants up 10 points. This is overall a nerf, I think, to the Mummified Undead. But I don't think it's going to warp them too much. We're not seeing them, as before, the whole ±5% thing is really ringing true at the moment. It's just such small changes. Orcs. We could do a whole Orc review, to be honest with you.
We will when they release the models, right?
We will.
When the models are all done and the reorgs are definitely confirmed, then we'll do a review then.
I think it's worth noting that the Vultures, the new units, are excellent. So for 120 points, you've just got A4 Ferocious Flying, Thrust. Like, these guys are hitting on virtual 3s with AP1 with those attacks, and virtual 4s with these other 3 for a very cheap
decent,
flying. They're really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing the minis for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Overall, though, Orcs are looking very good. Ratman, Militia taking this hit here is really very, very good for the game. It's a nerf for Ratmen, but it's an important one. They've also got the reinforcement nerf. So Ratmen have been nerfed, but they needed it. They are probably the best army in the game right now.
And the Blessed Platform changes, neither here nor there, really.
No, it's not. Other than the fact that
model makes sense.
It's fucking cool. I've got one right here. The thing that is weird, though, right? It was a tough 6 model before this change, and I pointed out to Tano it's got 8 guys carrying it. So why is it tough 6? Surely it should be tough 9. It's bigger than the Great Beast, which is the tough 12. Yeah, I've not done any scaling shenanigans with this. But yeah, the tough 9 thing, it means it stands better on its own, but it is neither here nor there because points.
Yeah, basically, right.
If you were using it as a buff platform before, it's slightly worse at that. But if you put a Rat Ogre on top of it, it's now a cool tough 9, 12 attack dude.
Yeah, and it's also an AOF land, right? Like, it's a decent fighter on its own.
Yeah, it really is. So Ratmen, even though they have been nerfed, are still insanely strong.
Yep.
Rift Demons, we've spoken about. Saurians, did we miss Saurian Star Host?
Were they even? No, we didn't. It was just a Vulture Dactyl change.
Then it has missed, or it hasn't actually been put through on Grimdark Future, and it's in Age of Fantasy only. One of the most exciting things, we've got access in the game to Caster 5. Let's just check and make sure it is in the Star Host. Frog Mage, Caster 1, Ancient Palanquin. Right, so both of the Saurian factions for their Frog Mages now, on the top of them being a base Caster 3 with a Caster 1 optional upgrade, have got a new mount, which also gives them Caster +1. So we've got Caster 5s in the game in 2,000 points very easily, possibly even in 1,500.
It's a tough 9 as well.
On a tough 9, what a cool, unique fucking thing to come out of this patch. We've talked about the Dactyls, but those Frog Mages being Caster 5 tough 9 things is really exciting, and I look forward to seeing them on the battlefield.
Yeah, you absolutely take one of these now. They're great. Because Caster 5 is a really nice break point because it means you can cast level 3 spells on a 2-up every turn. So you just start throwing out Primal Boost on your whole army every single turn and benefiting from it.
Oh yeah, literally everyone.
Yeah. So
and this isn't a 9-inch rider.
No.
It's just
straight up more juice. So yeah, you just do that, right? It's now a really nice premium bus stick. It's still a 3/3 tough 9, so it's doing bits, and you can transition into a bit of casting close range if you want to. So yeah, good stuff.
Enjoy that exciting unit, Lizards players. Have fun.
Also, something I spoke about a while ago, but I think most casters should be unattachable, right? Because I think it gives them, it's easier to balance them if they can't be under walls of 20. And I think this is kind of more in that direction, which I like.
Yeah, I agree. Shadow Stalkers. Flare Cav doesn't have tough 3 anymore. That is, in my view, a buff. Flare Cav are looking really good.
Anything that removes tough from cavalry is always going to be better, right? Straight up. Yeah, the tough 3 cav sucks.
Fang Swarms now have Strider instead of melee evasion. We spoke about that.
Yeah, it's my bad. when you were like, don't all swarms have Strider?
And you went, no.
And I was like, no, this one. And now it's gone, guys. Sorry.
It's gone. Sorry. Again, Harvey is influencing this patch too much. Maze Walker now gives Strider. What is that replacing?
I genuinely have no idea what Maze Walker could be. It's one of the auras, is it?
Yeah.
They used to have a fast aura. Oh yeah, it was Scout, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was the Scout aura is now gone. Which is a big hit for them in progressive, because now they're only Scouts for Tormentors, I think.
Yeah, but come on. Who doesn't love a Tormentor? I actually saw someone talking about Shadow Stalkers the other day, and they said that Tormentors was shit, and I was like, how dare you come for my babies like that?
How dare you? Rounding it out, we're getting to the bottom of this, and thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. Vampiric Undead, the Zombie Wolves, Fast Scout, we've spoken about that. Volcanic Dwarves have got Fatigue debuff. That is still going to be a morale check needed, but that is an interesting change.
Yeah.
Shame to lose Piercing Assault Mark, but that gives them a bit more control play.
And once again, what's it on? It's on the Volcanic Lizards, and it's on the Greater Fire Elemental, so the tough 6s that you never take. Though I will say the Volcanic Lizard is really not bad, because it's a Flame of Beast in fantasy.
Shall I compare thee to a Flame of Beast?
I mean, it's 12 inches instead, and that version though has got reliable.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, in fantasy, it's not really not bad. 20 points for the chance of basically shafting something for a town. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Nice to see that for the Volky Dwarves and the Wood Elves. They've got their buff fucking Titan unit, which is sick mini. And then we've got a few things. This Weaving Branch doesn't matter right now. It will matter in 3.6 when there's cool things coming off of that. And Deer Riders are getting the nerf that we all expected, the faster the scalping.
Yep.
Whew. That takes us to the end of what's happened in 3.5. Now, that was a very long video for those of you who've watched. Thank you. I hope you've if you've been watching this video and you've been painting, come to the hobby channel on the Discord and just share and say, this was my 3.5.3 painting result. Just a progress update. Like, look, I'll show you now. I have rats who aren't fully painted. If your thing isn't fully painted, share it with us and attribute it to this video. Thank you for watching. This is a holding patch. 3.6 is only 6 months away. This is balancing the game down, bringing mobility down, and setting up for 3.6, which is going to be a really exciting patch for OPR. Yep. What's it going to do to the landscape? Harvey, unbox what has been 3 hours of rambling. What do you think this is going to do to the game?
What does this patch change about actual OPR? What's new now that this has been released? Well, the Dark Elf threat that you probably never saw in your life has gone away.
Huzzah.
The Dow threat has been lessened.
Yeah, the ranged layer is a big hit.
Alien hives continue to be a dominant faction. Literally nothing has touched them. They're potentially even better now because it's easier to fit snatch laws and things. That's it, I think, really. You know, not a massive amount has changed, right? We're seeing 5 or 10 points here and there. Things come up and down.
We've gone through it all and not a massive amount has changed.
Yeah, I mean, the AP scaling thing has made a lot of things cheaper than things. Auras are the big ones that have seen changes.
Yeah, the auras, I think, makes regen less common, I think, because it's more expensive generally.
The aura change means that if you had heroes with good auras, then they're especially good now for putting in expensive units because you can see the discount you're getting, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like you put a regen aura in a tough 3 unit, and then you're getting probably 35 points worth of discount there. Which if you're alien hives, you can spend 20 points to get a hero in the first place. So it's a huge bargain. But yeah, overall, I think there's a lot of things that have happened here. I think the biggest and most exciting things about this patch is that we've seen the death of all the weapon rules, right? I think that's going to be the biggest glow up for the game because now your opponent will say lacerate and you'll be like, oh, I know which one lacerate is. Yeah. And they won't say thrash, bash, crash, slash, skewer,
smash, wreck,
smash.
Yeah,
they won't be saying all that crap, so that's good. Apart from that, yeah, I think overall a pretty solid patch. I think it's enormous, but I think it's quite gentle, right?
Yeah, I think look, things have been nerfed. There's a lot of nerfing going on here. The nerfing is gentle, as you say, and I think that's good. And I think it's really good that you go through the sheer volume that's in this patch, and we come out with some very slight changes. That's what this boils down to. And I think that's a good thing, because that's a well-handled patch. You just have to kind of suck up that everything's gotten worse, and that includes your stuff too. But that's really beneficial for the overall health of the game, and I think the really important thing is that the thrust of this patch was just making OPR better. It's trimming edge cases, cleaning up rules, cleaning up gameplay, and that's why I say it's a staging for 3.6. Yep. So this is all positive stuff.
Yeah, one thing I will say though is, if after spending 3.5 hours talking through a patch like this and our conclusion is not much has changed, you start to question how much of this was actually worth doing, right? Right, like this is an enormous amount of work to make all these changes. How much needed to happen? Probably a fraction of it, which is either a really good thing or a really bad thing. I think it's a really good thing because it means the game's starting to reach kind of like a more steady state thing, which I think is good. I think 3.6 stands to potentially really shake that up, potentially make the game easier to balance, but really change the way the game is played. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what community expectations are leading up to that and a push release and stuff. But
yeah,
overall, yeah, a relatively harmless patch. I think there's been some really good changes. Like I really like the crossing strike changes. I really like the army weapon changes. And yeah, apart from that, the rest of it's all kind of moving stuff around.
Yeah, I really like that we get to see Dark Brothers as effectively a new army. I hadn't thought before our conversation today about how the Shift Kingdoms army had changed, but I think that's a really beneficial thing for the game to make them more interesting and actually have some reasons to take other units in it. Giants and Titan Lords, I'm always happy to see changes to them that makes it seem like we might see them more across the game, being played a lot more. And I'm just gassed for the Orcs and the Ratman clan minis this month and for the next 3 or 4 months. So this is going to be really great news for the game.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'm Dave. He's Harvey. This is Don't Think, Just Charge, and we'll see you in the next one.